You said that you love winning. What drives you more, the love of winning or the hate of losing?
Maybe equally, maybe both. I don't like losing, and I do like winning.
Say his name and he appears.
This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to welcome to Winning Tonight. How's everybody doing out there? Hope you're all doing and living well. I'd like to start out this evening by thanking all those awesome people in the winner's circle. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, each and every one of you. As the list grows, man, thank you so much to all these awesome people who make it happen. And a special thanks to Shelly and Wolfram, who support us over on Rumble as well. We are broadcasting live tonight on Rumble, X, and YouTube, and possibly many podcasts, as I will plan to take this show onto the podcast, into the podcast world. So if you're listening as in a podcast format somewhere, thank you so much. Please consider joining up with us on our platforms as well, YouTube, Rumble, and X. We want to get that YouTube platform rolling with subscribers this year, as to meet our new goal for 2025 of getting past 1,000 on Rumble, as well as rebuilding our X channel, which unfortunately got taken down at the end of last year. And we must rebuild. We must get back to the 1,800 strong followers plus we had there. So that's what we're doing. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome to Winning Tonight, the debut show, replacing Winning 2024 as 2024 is over. So here we go. Let me say hello to all these awesome people out there in the crowd. How you guys doing? Thank you so much for being here. Wolfram, thank you so much for dropping these links. Man, when you're here, remember to listen to the Wolf. He knows what he is talking about, ladies and gentlemen. And he wipes his paws. He lips in. Where's that? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. He wipes his paws, he lips in, and he has. And that's how we know the Alpha Mod is here. Welcome to the show. Welcome. I like winning too, says T-Rex Trucking and More. Welcome, my friend, T-Rex Trucking and More, for great truck driving streams. Make sure you check out T-Rex Trucking and More. The more is fun. All right. Daisy Girl Williams dropping the peace sign. What's up, Daisy Girl Williams? How you doing? Cool gamer, my friend. Thank you for supporting the channel and always being here. You're awesome, dude. You're awesome, dude. Just awesome to see ya. She's saying, hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, just Dawn. How you doing? Happy to see you. Happy to see you. All right. We got Roscoe Treat. What's up, Roscoe Treat? What's going on? Welcome to the show, my friend. Welcome to the show. Ronnie, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Good to see you. Good to see you. And there's Heidi. Heidi, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you for reminding people to do that. They need to do that. Smash it. Thumbs up and ring that bell, because shadow bans are real. And I live them. I live them. We're going to break the shadow ban. We're going to break it. Yeah, man. Happy that you're here. Happy that you're here, Roscoe. All right. We're off and rolling here. All right. So here we go with Winning Tonight. Probably going to be a weekly show at this point. This depends. Like I said, I got other things going on that I need to focus on, and we'll see how it goes. But again, this will be one of those shows too where we cover things that are happening in politics and so on. So if it is I don't know, I have to figure that part out too. But we also have the breaking news stuff. So breaking news will probably take over for a lot of the daily kind of live things like to happen. If we're watching, like, say, Senate confirmations and maybe breaking news. I don't know. I'm still working out. I'm still working out how it's going to be. Trying out a new pair of shades tonight. Not my favorite pair of shades. But a little darker and maybe cuts down on the reflections. I got a couple other pairs on the way that I'm going to try out as well that are more my style. But we'll go with this tonight. We'll see how it goes. The way I have it set up here is that it will inevitably have some kind of reflection. It's the way it goes. The way it goes. But we'll work it out. A lot of new stuff to try to figure out as we go forward here in 2025. And what a year it's gonna be. Already off to a interesting start with all these New Year's Eve, New Year's Day incidences that are happening around here, and already the conspiracies are flying, of course, but also just the tragedy of events that happen. New Orleans, people getting driven over, and I believe the French Quarter is on fire right now. That's what I heard right before I went on the air, and then we had the guy who in Vegas pulled up a Cybertruck and tried to cause some damage doing that. I've heard different reports on that as well. The guy actually had taken his own life before igniting the Cybertruck, and luckily nobody was really was hurt in that. Wasn't too bad of an incident, but driving a Cybertruck up to a Trump Tower and setting it off is sending a message, a very establishment worshiping message as well, very mind control message. This guy had been watching too much of the establishment media and had been completely subverted, and went to go do something this disturbing and calculated. And then we had people trying to connect all these people to the old that guy that tried to Ryan Ruth, that tried to pull the golf course assassination attempt off. And I don't know that that's, I mean, I don't know that it makes any sense, but people will grasp at straws to get you to watch them. K Marshall, what's going on? How you doing, K Marshall? Good to see you. Hope you're out there doing well. I'd also heard that we were getting some crackling kind of noises coming across. I believe that is because of the new headphones that I had, the ones that I'm wearing right now, that I got for this for live cam stuff. Doesn't have a microphone attached to it, but I had it plugged into my microphone right here, right on the end of it, and I think that it was just messing with that. So let me know if it gets better tonight. I have it plugged in a different way, and if that works, it works. If not, I have to go back to my my clunkers here for a while, and that it is what it is. We're here just to hang out and to get to know what the hell is going on in this world. So we'll start this evening off by all right. Thank you. We'll start this evening off by just talking about that kind of stuff. And I didn't grab too many. Let me see. I didn't grab too many videos on this topic, as I was waiting for it to kind of to ramp up a little bit, at least get some more information out about it. So much stuff going on with it. Things like this happen, and I think they're all kind of isolated. Weird though, as they are. But let's see. Let's actually, I was gonna pull up Radowski. Pull up somebody more based than Radowski. I was going to because he's gonna try. Why didn't the Fed stop it? Well, I think we think that the Feds are like some kind of superhero team, and they're not. Like we expect a lot out of them. We expect Hollywood versions of them, and the truth of the matter is that, well, when it's a corrupt organization, it's not going to operate great anyways, right? Their energies and resources and goals are going to be different. So asking why they didn't stop it is, if they had stopped it, and we'd be like, man, it was like, this is they're just making it up. I mean, it's like no matter what they do, we're going to question it until we get Kash Patel in there to straighten things out. And we have a decent intelligence agencies again working in our best interest. Then we can start to believe some stuff maybe more so than we do now. But right now, we're not going to really, what are they going to do? If they tell us something, we're not going to believe it. And then we want them to tell us something. It's like, You know, what are you going to do with that? It's just that's the state of the way things are right now, and they're just not as capable of. Oh yeah, let me do this. Tell me if this causes any glitching. I didn't switch my background because it was so similar. I didn't do like a fancy thumbnail tonight. I figured it's a debut show. I'll just go with the title. You know, I'll get back into all that soon enough. I still have a lot of things I want to improve and ramp up and optimize, uh, but I have to get down to doing that. But we will. I think his big thing. I watched some of his videos. Luke Rudowski, We Are Change, and they're trying to tie everything to Ukraine. I mean, really? I I'll listen some more to that, but I don't really know if I buy into it. But again, why did the Fed stop it? You know, I think we think that's like I think a lot of people think the world is like Hollywood, like a movie, and that you got these elite, all knowing, all seeing kind of forces out that are out there that can stop and prevent anything. I mean, okay, so you have that, right? And I was thinking, you have that idea, right? But at the same time, people push back against the idea of what it would take to actually be that kind of elite force, right? That kind of being all knowing, all seeing, all stop everything. We can prevent anything from happening kind of organization, right? You don't want your privacy invaded. You don't want them to have access to everything. You don't want them that part gets scary, right? That's the part where like, oh shit, and if the wrong person gets their hands on that, we're all screwed. So it's about making up your mind which one you want to believe. I think that maybe sometimes they'll be lucky enough to stop some things, and most of the time they won't. That's where I think it is right now. And I think that really is the realistic kind of viewpoint of this organization. Why didn't the Fed stop it? They were on the radar. What does on the radar mean? Remember, I asked that question a while back. I was like, tell me what you think on the radar means. What does it mean? That can mean a lot of things. It can mean a lot of things. That they're on them 24/7. And again, we have to watch how much we blend Hollywood into our reality, because Hollywood is not reality. Hollywood is just Hollywood. It's fantasy. It's fantasy island, man. And it's usually way ahead of our capabilities. Let's get some things set up over here. So, how far do we want our federal agencies? How much do we want them to be able to do to prevent things like this? Perfectly. That'd be nice. I mean, but is that what you want? Because what that takes is a lot more than I think what a lot of people are willing to give. There we go. All right, cool. And I don't blame them. In the wrong hands, this technology and this power can go really, really bad, and we don't want that. But asking those kind of questions, I think, just to get people to pay attention to you is not the way to go. Let's keep it based, and when we keep it based, we got a base set of creators that we can go to and listen to. Here's one of them right here, as I do media analysis on other creators that are out there. Let me take a look at the crowd, see what y'all are saying here. Scroll back here. Roscoe says he's been working days, so by the time I surf for your show, dang bam it, I fell asleep. Bring forth 2025. Well, man, I appreciate you being here, man. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate any rewatching that you do. That always helps. I appreciate the thumbs up and your support, my friend. And we're happy to have you as part of this base awesome winners crowd. So T-Rex Trucking and More says it's kind of obvious with the style of the attacks, the awful things in the French Corner was a terrorist attack, and the Cybertruck was a disgruntled leftist. Yeah, I won't connect them all. Oh, not yet. I mean, I know people want to. I know they really want to. It's a big thing. But yeah, I mean, it's a big world too. Things happen at the same time sometimes, disgruntled leftist, just thinks that everything's going to be terrible. It's 2025. So obviously, immediately Project 2025 goes into effect, even though Trump isn't in office and he has nothing to do with that, So they're going to think that way because they're boxed into their establishment narrative, and that's the mind control of that they are under, right? And people think, well, mind control isn't real. It takes torture and LSD and MK Ultra that hasn't been around for decades. It takes all kinds of things in my imagination for it to happen, right? But really, you see it all the time. You see it all the time. People get boxed into a narrative. And I mean, think about this: kids that believe in Santa Claus, right? There's that, and are the things they're boxed into that Santa Claus narrative. They believe it's real. They got the whole story down, man. They know, and they're trying to figure out how to work in that world, right? So they get the toys and the things they want for Christmas. Be good. Don't end up on the naughty list, right? Same thing. It's a micro to macro. Let's see. Everybody saying hi. Such a great crowd in here. Everybody being so awesome. Are the clunkers wireless or wired too? I don't know what you're talking about, but welcome to the show, Thomas. It's a great entrance. Great entrance there, man. How you doing? I want to know the name of the guy who was arrested for shutting down Interstate. Oh, yeah, I just saw that too. Interstate 85 in South Carolina the last few hours. Person was in custody of transport police. He was in an 18-wheeler. Guess it wasn't T-Rex, or was it? Maybe that's what the and more is tonight. And more causing trouble on 85. Yeah, I saw that 85 was shut down in South Carolina, that is. And not sure what's going on with that. Let me make sure I pull this screen up so we know where we're going next. And we're going to cover a variety of topics tonight. I got a bunch of things. We're going to talk about what to expect in 2025 too, as we have been talking about. That is, the obstruction that's coming. Like their plan is to obstruct, make Trump run through mud, try to delay his cabinet picks, try to delay their security clearances. These are all things that were told to us by J. Michael Waller back in March on the Tucker Carlson interview. And he has, he's become a very trusted source. The guy knows what he's talking about. He's got the experience, and we are still working on getting that interview together. Like, hasn't been forgotten about. 2025, the goal is going to be to have some very interesting interviews with some very interesting people, like to elevate the interview status up to the next level. So let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can get some bigger people that are out there to come on the show and have conversations about things. I mean, me and J. Michael Waller would have a very interesting conversation about how to fix things, the solutions. I really want to talk to him about that and congratulate him on his awesome book and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll pay. What do you want to know their name for? Do you think it's T-Rex? It might be T-Rex. Like you said, why won't the government tell us what happened so we can say why is the government lying to us? Yeah, that's totally this little trap that we're in right now, isn't it? Like, oh man, they're lying. It's like with the drones. Like, we don't know what they are, and they might not. I mean, the military doesn't have to tell them everything, and there's different departments and whatnot. And then there is, well, what are you talking about? You talking about the ones that the commercial drones flying around in New Jersey that people are buzzing around and taking videos of and trying to get attention with, or trying to troll people with, or just trying out their new Christmas presents, or whatever it is, right? Which ones are you talking about? We don't know what those are. We don't have the ability to track little tiny consumer drones. But we've covered that to death. So if you want anything about that, go to my Drone Apocalypse playlist. And there's 5 episodes of that. I think we covered it from start to finish. I won't go on about drones anymore because guess what? Nope, I'm talking about it because they're not in the narrative anymore. They're out of there. They're out of there. We got other things to talk about now, right? Onward and upward we go. Let's see. What else we got here? YouTube is wonky. Yeah, make sure you do that. Make sure you do all these things. Make sure you're on live chats. The only thing I can attribute luck to be winning the lottery without buying a ticket. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. Let's keep going. Did I show an image of 2 bodies that show where you can be shot and not die in the world? No, I didn't do that. Man. All right, let's get into this first video this evening with the very honorable Brandon Tatum.
Show me around the world today of an equivalent of the jihadist Muslim. Show me an example. You can't find none. Show me Jews, somebody who practiced Judaism or a religious Jew or an ethnic Jew that's going around doing this. Show me a Buddhist that's going around doing this. And they served in the military. They were still radical in portions of our country. And New Year's have already started off crazy. And I'm not shocked, because this is the America that the Democrats created by allowing radical jihadists to have a foothold in portions of our country. And I honestly believe, although these people were American citizens, presumably, and they served in the military, they were still radicalized. And we knew they were radicalized, and we let them be radicalized and act out attacks on our own country. This is what I will say before we get into the terrorist stuff. If you are caught with ISIS propaganda and making allegiance to support ISIS, we should take you out back and put a bullet in your head and call it a day. There is no room for radical jihadist behavior by anybody in this country, let alone an American citizen who gets radicalized. I don't understand why we could say we knew they were radicalized.
That's extreme, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't make that mistake, dude. Not around Brandon Tatum. Holy crap. Well, we also have the right to change our minds and be misled and kind of reform ourselves too. I don't want to go that far, but I mean, you should definitely be, let's say, talked to if you're going down the radical, into the radical world of Islam there, and you're demonstrating a propensity to be part of a jihad, if you will. You should definitely have a talking to, and talk about being on the radar. You should be on that radar for sure. As things ramp up. Now it's funny because it's like almost like a throwback, and don't you guys feel like it's like 10 years ago all of a sudden?
Posting stuff on social media, you post that you given an allegiance to ISIS, a known terrorist group. We should put you down like a dog. Easy. We put people down for less. And
I mean, how about just send them over, send them out of here? It's not. Here's the thing about America, though, man. It's land of the free. It's not illegal to have a bad take belief system. I mean, if you want to go that far, I mean, all the people that are loyal to the establishment itself, I'd throw them in that bucket too. That's a radical organization. It's anti-American. The problem is like, he should know this as a cop. You are not guilty until you act. You're not a criminal until you commit a crime. You're not guilty until you do something and get caught. It's like that's the way it goes.
They let them go. They let them make it. They let them go about their day, and then they do something, and we come back and say, "Oh, we knew they were going to do it." Think about it. Uvalde, same thing. Oh, we knew he was this way. Oh, he was on the FBI watch list. He was doing this and that. Y'all too worried about people at the school board meetings. Y'all too worried about people at Planned Parenthood, J6, and you got real threats to this country that y'all not even privy of, or you're not in a position to stop. It literally makes me so upset, and I can't believe we start a new year like this. It makes me upset. Same thing about January 6th. They cry and they cry and they cry and they spit on each other and spin in circles, the head turning around, and they say, well, we knew that these people were plotting to do an insurrection. If you knew, then why you let them do it then? If you knew they were going to do that in the Capitol building, wouldn't it behoove you?
Well, I mean, we know why, because they wanted it to happen. That's why. I mean, obviously, and then they plan to cover it up. So, I mean, let's not go too far out there with that one, and let's not confuse apples and oranges of these people that are doing this insane things here at the first of the year and the setup that was January 6th. And I got some January 6th stuff coming up tonight, so hang tight on that.
To thwart that type of behavior instead of letting it happen and then claiming it's an insurrection for the last 5 years. This video is brought to you by Ground.News, brought to you by Ground.News, ladies and gentlemen.
Ground.News. I'm actually meant to look into. I might pull some Ground.News up later on. We'll see. I applied for the affiliate program. Let's see if that happens. I'll be doing these little commercials too. Maybe
an idiot decided to drive a car through a group of people on Bourbon Street, and I don't know how many people 15 dead confirmed and over 35 others injured.
Dude, I don't know if you guys have been to New Orleans on Bourbon Street. Those streets are small. They're narrow. They're very narrow, and they're very you don't got a lot of room. If there's a truck coming down the middle of it, look out.
Got into a shootout with the police, and obviously he didn't make it. And I'm glad he didn't make it. We got a clip of this here. Nick, pull up the clip, and we'll watch it together, and then we're going to continue to move forward. A little bit about his background. It doesn't look like we got the clip ready. Let me tell a little bit about his background. He served in the military. He served in the U.S. Army for over 10 years as a human resource specialist and information technology specialist, which is, did he really serve? No, I'm not saying anything about people that serve, but their MOS don't seem like combat. All right, including a deployment to Afghanistan in 2009. He achieved the rank of staff sergeant before being honorably
Deployment in
discharged.
2009. What
Following his military, the rank of staff sergeant. All right, including a deployment to Afghanistan in 2009.
That would be serving in combat right there. So yeah,
he achieved the rank of staff sergeant before being honorably discharged. Following his military service, he attended Georgia State University from 2015 to 2017, according to what we have here. This idiot was twice divorced and had two daughters, ages 20 and 15, at the time of the attack. His family reported that he converted to Islam at a young age. Friends and family noted that he became increasingly passionate about his faith around 2017. In months leading up to the attack, he exhibited erratic behavior, as reported by acquaintances. Let me say this.
2017, that's after right after Trump got in and they started running the hate and slander campaigns against them.
Real quick. People got mad at me on campus the other day because I'm telling you, the true form, and prove me wrong, the true form of Islam is this. People that live in America that are not violent and not believing.
He does make a good point. It's like, name one other religion that is doing stuff like this. And that is true. Let's see. Pro tip from T-Rex Trucking and More. If a car is chasing you or trying to run you down, make a 90-degree turn as you run away. It's harder for a car to follow that. It's unfortunate. This advice needs to be put out. Yeah. Jeremy was saying something about how unusual it would be to use a vehicle known for bulletproofing to load things inside of it and then staying in it, and how they have self-driving and such. What are you talking about? The Cybertruck? The Cybertruck, that was just dumbass. He was trying to make a point about maybe he didn't really, care about the collateral damage. Like I said, I heard reports that he already had taken himself out before the bomb went off. So that's going to contradict any. If that's true, that would contradict any points about it being him hitting a detonator. Like, right? I'm going to hit a timer and then gone and done the deed and then have it go off, right? Or, maybe it was contained. Maybe it was the fact that he was blowing up a Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower as in sending a message, right? So we don't know what was inside of his head. We can't make assumptions about what he wanted to have happen, right? We can just say, well, it looks this way, So maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's what it is. I don't need to hear the whole Islam rant. I already heard it earlier.
Tell me nothing else. Show me another group in religion that is an issue with this particular religion, and they will do it by death and force. Therefore, an American
that are going
who
to blow
gets
me
radicalized by this religion decides to do this.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see some of this. I want to. Now, this is what's crazy about this is that's the truck he's driving, right? And he just decides to suddenly do this. I don't know why. If he had planned to do it down this street or not, that's pretty interesting, right? Did you plan on do it down that exact street for some reason? I don't know. That's truck. But when you see the Cybertruck out in Las Vegas, it parks right behind a truck just like this one. That's why I was like, what? That's crazy. But these are like thousands and thousands of miles apart. So obviously not the same truck. Have you guys seen this? I mean, I feel like I should have like a smaller view on this. There we go. Maybe I won't trigger the sensors on this. I don't know. That's when he turned. That's when he peeled out around the corner. Yeah, there you go. You see how small the streets are? That's New Orleans right there. Like you see that's a sidewalk and a little bit of a sidewalk over there. That's about all you get. It's a one way. A lot of one ways. Oh, that Right there, man. That's why you got to stay in shape. They so close. So close. All right. Let me go like that. All right. People are
So
like,
now, of
what
course, we're not
the?
going to show you too much because we don't
Yeah,
want to
don't
get
show
banned
me
from
too
social
much.
media. But this is what this guy did with all intentions to do what he did
What's up,
because he
Outpost? How you
hates
doing?
America. ISIS affiliation. ISIS flag was found in this idiot's car, and he had possession of videos expressing support for ISIS and the desire to kill, indicating potential inspiring by the terrorist organization. The FBI is investigating possible
It's inspiring, right? It's like, yeah, but you're not really in the organization. You're just inspired by it. I mean, what kind of deal is that? What kind of deal is that? You know, you're still an infidel in their eyes, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe he's not. You know, people be like, well, you know, he probably told him to do it. I don't know. It seems like he pretty much just like lost it and said, I'm going to do this now. And then who knows? Maybe he was listening to something on this, you know, some kind of jihadist podcast, and he just got triggered and said, I'm going to take him out, man. Memento Mori, what's up, my friends? What's up, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Unfortunately, my first thought after learning that no one was seriously injured in the cyber trap truck thing is, oh, thank God, one less cyber truck out there. Okay. Oh, Jesus. That is unfortunate, T-Rex. I don't know what you're talking about, Thomas, but I'm glad you're here. Let's see. The police were saying that even if they had the Jersey barriers up, that since he drove on the sidewalk, it would do very little to have prevented this. The Jersey barriers, ooh, sounds very northern. I keep going back and forth on weather delay and Sugar Bowl 24 hours. I don't know what that's about. Okay, so I'm just trying to thank you, Wolf. Remember, when you're here to listen to the Wolf, he knows what he's talking about. All right, back at it.
affiliations with ISIS and whether he acted alone or he had an accomplice. And this is a picture of the ISIS flag that was found in his vehicle. It made me so mad. I keep saying this. Don't people have something better to do
Zoom in
with their brand new year than to be running people over and trying to kill people over a religion that ain't even real? That don't make me get mad. And if you,
but I mean, again, he may have had all that stuff and he may have done it for a completely different reason. That's what I'm saying. Like, this stuff comes out, everybody's gonna, has their speculations and whatnot. I just don't think there's enough. This is what happened. This is how it is, and that's it. That's all we got right now. That's all we got. So there's more important things to talk about than these guys, and we're gonna get on to it here. Let me see. So let's move past this dude. Let's go over here to the Vegas incident here real quick. This is the guy out there who did this.
and it's the people just trying to live their life.
There's
man.
a truck, and there's the other truck that's in front of it, which is odd.
They just out here trying to enjoy Trump Tower, Trump Hotel, and you out here being stupid because you radicalized by some fake religion. Okay, and this happened also on January 1st. Trump's International Hotel in Las Vegas resulted in the death of the driver and injuring several other bystanders. This idiot was 37 years old, served in the Army, and he served in Colorado, or at least that's where he was based out of. That's where he was on the base there. A little bit of his background: a Cybertruck he rented from Turo, which is where both of these idiots rented their vehicles from, was Turo. And the reason I think they rented from Turo, not because maybe they were together on this. They probably were, to be honest. But because Turo is probably less paperwork and less identified markers. It's kind of like
the same thing. They didn't use the same
like getting
truck.
Uber. They're not digging all into the information for you to get an Uber. You can just say, I want Uber. They ain't checking your age or nothing. You can do whatever. And I think Turo is probably very similar to that. And it says that he was parked at the hotel valet when he detonated at 8:40 a.m. Investigators say they discovered fireworks, gas canisters, and camping fuel rigged to a detonation system in the vehicle. Tesla CEO Elon Musk confirmed that the explosion was not due to a vehicle defect, but result from the content loaded into the truck. Several individuals sustained injuries from the blast, all reported to be sustained or are in stable condition. The driver, idiot, died at the scene. A little bit of his background: he served in the Army Special Forces with the deployment to Afghanistan, Ukraine, and Georgia. At the time of the incident, he was approved leave from his station in Germany.
News 5 hours. Maggie, what are you seeing?
Let's play the clip. I think we already played it, but it's not on the screen. Roll it.
Confirmed to News 5, the Colorado Springs man was the driver of the Cybertruck that exploded in front of the Trump International Hotel this morning in Las Vegas. They say 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger died inside the vehicle. El Paso County records show that Livelsberger has several addresses in our area, and they're now the focus of a federal investigation. FBI agents are at one of his addresses on the east side of the city. That's where we find News 5's Maggie Bryan, who's been there for hours. Maggie, what are you seeing?
Megan, this is about all we can see of this scene right now. I'll step out of the way. You can see some of those flashing lights behind me. Those are coming from a few law enforcement vehicles blocking off the entrance to this townhome complex. Now, this is near Stetson Hills Boulevard and Mark Shuffle Road on the east side of Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs police confirmed to us that FBI agents are here investigating this home. We have learned that Livelsberger is connected to this townhome. Senior law enforcement officials say he lived in Colorado Springs and was the driver of the Cybertruck. Our team has seen agents out here since about 7:30 this evening. We've also been back and forth to the Stetson Hills police substation about 3 miles down the road, where we've seen a few armored vehicles in the parking lot there. We'll be out here talking with law enforcement and trying to get any more information we can tonight. For now, in Colorado Springs, I'm Maggie Bryan, News 5.
I couldn't be the president. Man, you do something in America, man, I just feel some type of way about my country. Why are we playing with these people, man? Why don't we just clean the whole place down? If we clean it out, I don't think the world will be a safer place. Let them play. We clean it out. Hit the reset button. We start over. Start over in Gaza. Start over Iran. Where do y'all want to start?
He's got his way of doing things, right? Let's see. What do you guys think of this stuff? Hold on. Bring it back. Interesting. I had this like thing. Wait a second. Oh, there we go. All right, cool. My screen was a little messed up for a second on this end. All right, back to it. All right, so we have that going on, right? And I'm sure you guys have seen most of this anyways. I don't have, let's hear what this guy has to say, and then we'll be done with it.
Reset. I'm not trying to be fun.
Partners here are also reviewing hundreds of hours of surveillance and other video from both the French Quarter and other locations. As for a timeline, at this point, investigators believe Jabbar picked up the rented F-150 in Houston, Texas on December 30th. He then drove from Houston to New Orleans on the evening of the 31st, and he posted several videos to an online platform proclaiming his support for ISIS. There were 5 videos posted on Jabbar's Facebook account, which are timestamped beginning at 1:29 a.m. and the last at 3:02 a.m.
Oh, okay.
In the first video, Jabbar explains he originally planned to harm his family and friends, but was concerned the news headlines would not focus on the, quote, war between the believers and the
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, there's the rest of it. I didn't see this part.
disbelievers, end quote. Additionally, he stated he had joined ISIS before this summer. He also provided a will and testament.
So you can put
he was ready to go. He was all spun up.
all that on the internet, and you don't even get a strike. You don't get nobody calling your phone. But somehow the FBI is so busy that they allegedly tapping people's phones on January 6th. You can tap their phone, but you can't have some type of algorithm on social media that if you say you want to kill somebody, that they don't at least look up your page. You say you didn't join ISIS, and they ain't nowhere. They not investigating you. They not flagging it fake news. I posted the other day on social media of a scientist arguing why he think the earth is 5,000 years old instead of billions. And they flagged me for fake news. And this man get on here and join ISIS and put it online and have a will and testament, say he's going to kill people. And then he's now a terrorist hours before he run over people. And y'all ain't.
Well, yeah. And then I got my X account taken down for supposedly selling or promoting counterfeit goods, which what? What? I mean, and maybe the answer is the fact that there are so many bots out there, that are just posting nonsense all the time. I mean, I think the scale is off the hook is the problem. But I mean, as time goes on, again, there's a lot of people that don't want that type of metadata kind of abilities, right? And the intelligence agency's hands. But then when something like this happens, they're like, well, why couldn't you have stopped it? Why not? I mean, I hear them. I mean, it's a complicated situation. We're going to have to be worked out. It's going to have to be worked out, over time. It's just obviously not ready yet. If you can get taken down for, supposedly questioning the age of the planet because of your religious beliefs, but someone else is putting out their intentions to do harm to others because of their religious beliefs, there's something wrong with that. I have to agree with them on that. I understand his frustration. I've been there. I really do. Right? He ain't getting any. I don't think he's going to get any. I don't think he's going to get any.
Ain't nowhere to be found. FBI got their thumb up their butt, sitting around twiddling their thumb, trying to find a way to get rid of Trump. Where you?
So what? So let me ask a question here. When Cash Patel gets in, right, and he starts making his changes and trying to make things better and fixing the things he knows are broken on the highest level, right? And something like this happens, and they don't stop him. Is everybody gonna be like, Cash Patel sucks? You know? Do we understand the scope of what's going on here? I get it, and I think that what he's talking about is where we should try to get to, right? But do we understand the scope that we're dealing with? Let's take a step back and think about the scope of the problem. How many posts are happening at this second, right? Across the world. Okay, now just the US. All right. Think about it. Now, a couple seconds have gone by. How many more posts have been made on how many different platforms out there? Which ones should we watch first? Which ones are more important? Like, you know, when you start doing root cause analysis, you got to ask these questions. Okay, we have a problem here. There's the problem. There's the issue, right? We don't have enough response. We don't have a fast enough and more accurate response. We don't have the most accurate, most efficient response right now, right? People can get flagged and taken down for one thing, which makes it seem like the focus is more there, right? And other people can put stuff out there and then go do stuff and nobody stops them, right? We're talking about scope. We got a scope issue here. We got a scope issue. It's too much. You know, there's too much going on. So what does that mean? How are you going to solve that problem? If you're going to say, and I think we're done with this. I'm just going to bring it on. I'm just going to bring it on back here. If you're going to say that response time and accuracy is the issue, expect that those kind of resolutions to come through. Expect the type of steps that you need to take to resolve that issue to happen, right? Because you have to dig down to the root cause issue. And if the root cause issue is scope, right? Technology and scope, right? It's so much going on. You need a faster, more robust AI, right? That's going to do it. Oh, no, put it in the hands of AI. Oh, no. You know, some people are going to object to that. You're going to have to know who's posting what, when, how, who. You got to, you got to be able to segment data and parse it out. You have to be able to prioritize it. Again, where's the most important platform to look for this stuff? Is it X? Is it YouTube? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it all these other platforms I don't use? Ones we've never heard of? Is it the Chan boards? Where do you want to go? Try to figure out who's who and what's what. And can you actually find out who they are? Are they real or are they a bot? Like when you start complaining about these kind of things, you're basically saying, I want government or some officials to take care of this, right? I want resolution. Well, how do you get to that resolution? How are you going to get there? Are you going to be like, everybody, you're only allowed to post 5 times a day because the scope's too big? How are we going to figure out the next crazy guy that's going to post some stuff online for attention and then go out and do something bad? How are we going to get to them if everything's all mixed up? There's so much noise and there's so much out there that we can't sort through it all in time within an hour or two or more to stop somebody from doing something somewhere that we're not sure what it is yet and how they're going to do it. He didn't, I don't think he posted, I'm renting a truck and going to New Orleans. And then at a certain time, I'm going to turn down this one street and drive as fast as I can. Or meet me out in front of Trump Tower at this time, and this will happen. I mean, a scope issue. I mean, it sounds good, right? When you're ranting about it, to say, I want this, I want that, we need this. I can point out everything that just happened that was wrong. But can you break down the scope of the issue? That's the real problem, isn't it? What is the scope of the issue? It's vast. See what the crowd has to say about that. We're still talking about Virgin's liquid mass. Its microphones, cameras as true revolutionary avoid digital. Welcome to the show, Liquid Mass. How you doing? How you doing, man? Anybody comments on the scope of this issue, and can we reasonably expect online surveillance, which is what we're talking about here, right? Online surveillance of our social media, of our speech, right? Everybody, because remember, it's not just going to be for the crazy people; it's going to be for everybody, right? It's going to be for everybody. And will what you say fall into the segment that's considered crazy by the ones who are creating the segments? You know what? It's like this. Sometimes shit just happens. And there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. Except for be more vigilant in our own environment, right? If you know people are doing crazy shit like driving down streets in crowded areas really fast, then you should teach yours that if you're going to be out in a crowd, keep that head on a swivel. That's what I plan on doing. I plan on breaking it down. Like, I survived this long because I've always had those street smarts. Like, I've always had look out for what's going on in the world in my head. I don't know if it's because of where I'm from or how I grew up, but the world wasn't even that crazy. And I still had it in my head to be aware that shit was going to go down sometime somewhere. I've told you guys a story, right? Well, I was like 5-10 minutes away from the Atlanta bombing, or the Olympic bombing. Like, literally, that scaffolding you saw, the little on the side of it, right? Literally like 50 feet in front of that. Like right before that, with a whole group of friends, including a small child. We were watching a band. We went down there to see Steel Pulse, and as often happens when you go to see Steel Pulse, the reggae band, you end up watching Black Uhuru. Because Steel Pulse, somebody doesn't show up and they switch into their other band, and that's what you get. Both bands are excellent reggae bands, right? But I wanted to see Steel Pulse. And right after they were done, some country band came on. I don't know, probably somebody famous now. I have no idea because I'm not into country. And neither was my friends. So we're all like, let's get out of here. So we walk across the street. We go down an alley. There's a little jam band playing there. We're watching them, a little three-piece. They're rocking it. We're having some fun. It's the Olympics, right? It's crazy crowded down there. For weeks leading up to it, on the news, they had constantly been talking about, what about the threat of a bomb? Blah, 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 blah. They said it so many times. I was like, shut up. You're going to inspire someone to go do it to get on the news. Because back then, that's how I thought about things. This is like 96 or so. I was like, you're just going to inspire somebody. You're going to inspire somebody to be like, oh, this is how I can get attention. Sure enough, there it was. But, you just got to be aware of your surroundings, man. And had something like that gone off, I would have known what to do right away. But I mean, do most people know? I mean, you saw those people, their survival instincts kicked in. They got the hell off that road. That one person's barely missed getting hit. But you know what? When you go out in big crowds in a demoralized world, shit happens, right? If you want to take care of things like he's talking about, radical Islam, that's a generational fix. You ain't gonna fix it like right now by pulling people out in the street, and you gotta let them age out and die up on their own. And then you gotta half the world is Islam. What are you gonna do about that, right? You have to generationally fix that, and within Islam itself. And that's a hard one. But what do you want? You want Big Brother? You want super duper surveillance? You want to have digital IDs to use internet to post? That's where barking like this is gonna lead. I'm sure someone like Brandon doesn't care. I ain't doing nothing wrong. I don't care. Maybe that's the attitude you got to take, but then you got to make sure, damn sure, if you're gonna go that route, that you don't let a corrupt establishment roll over you. But what do you do when there's a mind control machine happening that no one's addressing about? I love Brandon Tatum, man. I have rarely, if ever, heard him address the mind control issue going on in this world, the subversion, what the root cause of that is. It ain't going to go away if you don't do anything about it. That's why it's lasted this long. That's why it continues to persist generationally, because we don't take the right approach to fixing it. Like, I advocate for a generational fix, right? A generational approach to eliminating the subversion and demoralization in our country. And that's the only way it's going to get done. I mean, if someone else can tell me how they can instantly do it by snapping their fingers, go ahead. I'll listen. Sounds good. I'll entertain all ideas. Believe me, I've been working on this problem for, decade and a half. Let me see here. Let me get back to the crowd here. So that's my thoughts on that. I mean, what are you going to do about that? We're going to get into what to expect in 2025 here coming up. Let me go ahead and click off of that and get ready. But I'm going to go to the crowd and see what your thoughts are on all that and more. If there are any out there, we will talk about them. We're talking about a lot of virgins here. Church robots, micro. I got to that one. All right. Yeah, a lot of talk about that. Teach kids to stop wearing headphones on both ears. Always keep one ear open. That's a good advice. That's good advice right there. Let me see here. Yeah, active. Yeah, that's true. Mostly get your kids headphones that have bypass or active listening features. Yeah, those are really cool and actually can help sometimes. If you're gonna wear headphones, that's usually I've had those. Those are really cool. Very cool. Most people have terrible situational awareness. Yeah, dude, you need to teach that. It needs to be. Don't assume everybody has that. Teach it. Awareness helps kick that in. I mean, really, just awareness. Just be aware that you need to have that. All right. Yeah, so just teach it. Massive surveillance started in the 80s on analog. Yep. Well, yeah. People were looking for things, right? I mean, we have enemies. We have mental illness. We have things that need to be watched, right? And if we can watch it and prevent some deaths, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, where do we draw the line? It's always been about that line, hasn't it? The problem that we have is the corruption. And that's why I keep pointing back to that as the root cause issue of things, right? We wouldn't be so worried about the surveillance, right? If we didn't think there were bad guys on the other end of it, or potentially the potential scenario where the bad guy, where somebody completely evil who wants to do us all in and turn us into an unfree country, which I believe we face, wasn't on the other end of that, didn't have control over that, right? The media wasn't lying to us. It's the deception, the corruption, the abuse, all that stuff that leads us back to not being able to utilize our technology to make a better place, a better world, and to keep us safe, right? So when the FBI doesn't catch somebody who puts a post online, will they actually commit the second they commit to doing the harmful acts? What do you want? How do you want it to be? Right? Wouldn't it be better to just focus on the root cause issue, get rid of the corruption, decrease the demoralization, decrease the subversion, the mind control? These are the things that drive people to do bad stuff, right? These are the things that drive society down to the ground. Evil people who want to take, right, and leave people in desperation. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I've always been talking about since I've been here. Like, you could talk about these issues till you're blue in the face, right? But it's not going to change anything until you address the root cause issue, right? We're all symptom management right now. All these people, symptom management, right? They don't want to talk about doing the hard work, the generational fixes, and what that would take. How we're going to go about doing that. You got to identify the root causes first, right? Cultural Marxism, ideological subversion, demoralization, corruption in our government, globalist agenda. These are things that drive the problems that we have right now. The division, right? The cycle of abuse that powers the cycle of control, right? That we let these abusive institutions and practices continue unabated because we're worried about symptom management. Oh, geez. All right. Hey, look at here. Look at here. Look at here. What's this? What's this? What's this? Murph's Turf, how you doing? Here's to a not boring 2025 Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Murph's Turf, and thank you for being a member of the Winner Circle, man. Thank you for supporting the channel. I don't know if you heard or not, but I did shout you out on New Year's Eve. And I appreciate you so much for supporting the channel. I did a special shout out to each one of my members. And I hope that inspires others to join the Winner Circle and become part of this great base group that is all about the solutions and thinking deeper than the average crowd, right? That's what we do here. And I will never confirm your bias, but I will walk with you to the truth. I promise you that. Libby, I see you out there. How's it going, man? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Happy that you're here. Happy that you're here. What else do I miss here? What? Lots of chats tonight. So I'm looking this way. I'm looking at the comments on the other side of the screen here. So I'm looking away. Yeah, Tim Pool did a video, put out a video about how like for $30 you can bot some. Yeah, I saw that like a 40-minute. He did like a 40-minute. He's on vacation. He did like a 40-minute video today, and I did watch some of that. All right, before we get back to the to my select group of content tonight that we're going to go through, including some more deep state 2025 stuff, things that we have to keep an eye out on, to be aware of, to spread the word about, and to speak out about in the proper ways, not get caught up in the semantics of it, but understand the deeper operations of it. Let's go over to this post right here. I'm going to pull this up as it pertains to what we were just talking about a little bit here. Share and boom. There we are. All right. So developing a fire has broken out in New Orleans French Quarter, raising concerns after yesterday's fire at the attacker's Airbnb. Similar or not? Same one? What are you doing to me? All right. You guys see that? All right, it's just a fire. It's a fire, man. That's all it is. All right, cool. All right. Video is not going to tell us anything. All right, thank you for being very confusing, Mr. X. All right. Let's just. All right, so that's that. I don't know that I put too much into that because fires happen all the time down there. Okay. Another. What was this? All right. We can throw this under this category. Let's throw it into this category here. It's always fun to play this one. I like the tune. Where'd you go? There you are.
Breaking news, breaking news. Everybody loves breaking news.
So, oh yeah, I'll just pull it up. Just in, a man has been arrested after he planted an IED on a train car in Piatti, probably said that wrong, Idaho. 40-year-old Brent Sharia, oh, that's an unfortunate name, was arrested and charged with possession of a destructive device after he was caught attempting to light the LED. You light them, huh? The Nampa bomb squad was called in and successfully detonated the device using a robot. This incident halted rail traffic through that corridor for over 5 hours. So yeah, like I said, it's a crazy world. Shit happens, man. It's just, that's what it is. People lose it. People go, they get to the last straw. They get to that push point where they just say screw it. Unfortunately, a lot of that going around. It's called you push people far enough, Oh, geez. Hold on. Let me make sure I can show this. If someone gets plowed by cars, it's not going to be good. What? Holy cow. Yeah, I don't know if I can show that, but looks like somebody tried to drive over someone drove over some people in a crosswalk. That's not great. New York police officials investigating a possible hate crime after a car runs over a small group of Jewish pedestrians crossing the sidewalk. You know, the thing about it is that this is a spur of the moment decision. I don't know if I could. I guess I could show this. Maybe I could show it on a very small screen. I guess we'll figure out how much they hate me. You got to watch it with X though, because like people can do things there they can't do in other places. What if I just did it way up here in the corner and just like really small, but like this guy just comes around the corner, right? I mean, I'll stop it like right before it happens. See, this is people crossing the street. See this car right here? It's turning. Now the timing on this, the timing on that right there, right, is a spur of the moment decision. It's not something that you plot. It's not a conspiracy or a plot, right? It's just, and it could be the fact that this person might have been looking at this guy over here. Hold on. Looking at this guy over here and not seeing them. This is kind of a blind spot, a little bit of a blind spot. I can't tell what the lights are, but I don't know. That's horrifying though. You could see what's about to happen, right? Baby stroller. But I mean, that's a split second decision right there. It's a split second. I mean, you don't get up in the morning and be like, I'm gonna go do this, right? And then you happen to get the perfect scenario there. I don't know. That's in Brooklyn. That's going down in Brooklyn. All right. Here's somehow that got on the screen. That's awful though. And let me put this up here for some more breaking news. George says, breaking, the Sixth Circuit Court just ruled to permanently block Joe Biden's plans to expand the government's control of the internet using net neutrality rules. The judge ruled that the FCC no longer has the power to make up rules out of thin air due to SCOTUS's overturn of the Chevron difference. We acknowledge that the working of the internet is complicated and dynamic, and that the FCC has significant expertise in overseeing this technical and complex area. Yet, post Loper Bright, that capability, I don't know what that even means. If you will, post Loper Bright, is this guy an AI or something? Like, what is this? If you will, cannot be used to overwrite the plain meaning of the statute. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's important. Incoming FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, FCC, says today's decision is a good win for the country. Over the past 4 years, the Biden administration has worked to expand the government's control over every feature of the internet ecosystem. You can see it in the Biden administration's efforts to pressure social media companies into censoring the free speech rights of everyday Americans. The Supreme Court gave the incoming Trump administration the green light to dismantle the federal bureaucracies. Judges are no longer required to beg back office DC tyrants for interpretations of statutes. They will now use the Constitution. That's great news. The statute book and common sense. This is an absolute game changer. And here you can see Biden's only a 2-star general with his AI robots in the background. nice grok image there, George. I like that. All right. So that's some good news, right? What are we talking about here? But I mean, they wanted to censor free speech, right? But we need people, I guess, to talk about what they're going to do so we can somehow find out what they're going to do before they do it. I guess. I don't like these glasses. I hope my new ones should be here tomorrow. So maybe by winning Saturday night, I'll have my new glasses. But I heard that the reflection was a little bit too much on my most preferred pair of glasses. So I tried these out. They're darker and they don't reflect as much. But they're not my style. They're not my style, man. All right, let's get on to the other stuff we have this evening. That's good news. I've been wanting to know what the AI drone response to Biden saying, well, whatever is going to be. What AI drone do you want to hear from, Thomas? What AI drone do you want to hear from? How did that start playing again? Let's shut that down. All right, there we go. All right, where is it? Where is it? I know it's around here somewhere. Okay, so here's something weird. Let's kind of mix it up on the way around. Let's get this up. I'm just gonna pull things to the top of the list here. Give me 1 second. You see how fast things got like move through the news cycle, right? No one's talking about drones anymore. No one's talking about drone legislation anymore. No one's talking about H-1B visas anymore. It moves quick, man. It moves really quick. But what happened here? You guys hear about this? Let's just go to some interesting, weird kind of stuff. Just to kind of mix it up, and then we're going to go into some deep dive on deep state activities pertaining to 2025. All right. Let me make sure this is on winning speed. Winning speed. If it will ever give me a chance to do it. Lagtastic, we are. Here we go. Yes. All right, we're all set here. Something is off about this video. And something is very laggy about YouTube. See that? Say click. Click. There we go.
Hey guys,
Hey,
welcome to
Daisy.
the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh boy, do I have a clip to show you guys today. Oh, the stuff that pops on my timeline sometimes is just too good to pass up. You know, I just have to make a video on this. Like I always say, I get these clips that pop up and you might think, well, you know, it's just a viral clip, whatever, who cares? Watch it, laugh, move on. There's not much more to it.
Right.
That's what some people might think. But no, at least for me, I always see these clips and there's always a greater meta point that I think can be interpreted here. I got another clip of one of these Just Stop Oil protesters in Europe that I just got to show you because I think really it exemplifies everything that's wrong with modern day activism and this attention seeking nonsense that we're currently being subjected to with these activist youths. It's just all become such a freaking farce. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I got this clip that popped up on my timeline. It's got already over 3 million views. I told you it was going mega viral. This was posted by Wide Awake Media, who writes, French police swiftly unglue climate activists from the road. Do you think they were excessive in their actions?
Oui, ça c'est pas trop collé, c'est du goudron.
Gotcha. There you go. Now you're free.
And I got to tell you, this clip of this French Just Stop Oil protesters gluing themselves, or should I say, it seems to be pretending to glue themselves to the streets. Well, it's just the perfect encapsulation of these modern leftist activist movements. It's all performance and no substance. I mean, it's obvious what's going on here, at least what I'm inferring from the clip. Their hands aren't really glued down to the pavement. I mean, we've seen a lot of these videos where people are actually cementing their hands down to the pavement. We've seen some serious heavy-duty glues where you're sitting back watching the clip and you're thinking, why would anybody do that to themselves? I mean, they might even lose their damn hand, or at the very least, they're going to lose some skin. But in this case, I mean, just watching the officer effortlessly rip their hand off the ground, it's obvious they weren't using a great adhesive, or maybe the adhesive that they were using wasn't interacting with the concrete so well. And it seemed like the police officer understood and knew this. And so he was just popping their hands off the concrete. And as he's doing it, I mean, the first girl he pulls off, she had a little bit of a reaction. But then once he gets to the guy next to her, he pulls the hand off and you can tell that there was no sign of struggle. I mean, it just popped right off. But then the guy being filmed leaps back and starts screeching in obvious fake pain. It's comedic gold, like a bad high school drama. Obama performance. He starts kicking his legs into the air. And the moment I saw this, instantly I had the inspiration for this video because it's the perfect encapsulation. Like I said, this is exactly what modern activism has become. Narcissistic performance art masquerading as meaningful action. These aren't people who are there to make real change. These are people who are there for the moment.
To create optics. It's all about optics so they can use it to control other people's minds with the narrative.
I want to be the next Greta Thunberg, the next David Hogg, basking in the glow of media attention and social media
Andre
clouds.
Diet, how's
I'm
it
that
going?
infamous
Welcome to the
activist that
show.
everybody
Good to see you
sees.
there,
I'm that
Rumble.
infamous activist that everybody
How's Rumble
knows.
doing
And I
tonight,
think at
by
this
the
point,
way?
people are able to see right through it. You can see it for what it is. It's disingenuous
Over
crap.
there.
And it seems to me quite clearly that, this sort of thing is
Guys,
not
hit
working
thumbs up
anymore.
for me,
It
man.
seems like the era of the celebrity
go,
activist is
Rumble.
slowly dying. And I think it's precisely because
Celebrity
of stunts
activist.
like this. Nobody takes these
Happy
people
New-
seriously anymore. They're not solving problems. They're simply creating memes. They're not inspiring change. They're inspiring eye rolls and face.
They're inspiring attention and great narratives for the weak-minded or the unsophisticated. That's why the more people become more media literate, the less this will be impactful, and it will be when it doesn't work, people won't do it, right? Let's get out there and pretend. Hell, if we really glued our hands to the road, that might hurt. Yeah, your heart's really in this, man. Your heart is really in this. All right. Yeah, there you go. There's that. I thought you would enjoy that. Oh, I got one playlist up. Hold on a second. Let's go off the master playlist. Let's see. That's what I'm doing. What is going on with this? Why is that? All right, I got to get rid of that. That is just so slow. So slow. That up. Let's get this up. Where's the J6 one right there? Okay. All right. I don't know why that's all the way down there. Give me 1 second, guys. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Let me see here. All right. I'm going to go find it. Oh. Newest added. There we go. All right. Hold on. Yeah, that's a problem. Newest. I thought I saved this one. We get you. We're good in there. Here we go. Let's get to this. Deep State's 2025 plan that Trump must defeat. Let's see what this is all about here. Let's go. Thanks for sticking with me on that one. I did a little organization.
I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm feeling pretty great. I mean, we're all taking a breath, to smell that sweet smell of victory. You remember when Donald Trump said you're going to get sick of winning? I'm still not sick of it. Not at all.
Yeah, you never will.
I'm not sure we felt this way in 2016. I mean, did we? After Donald Trump? Yes. After he defeated Hillary Clinton, I'm sorry. I almost made a mistake and said it wasn't as sweet, but then I remembered he ran against Hillary. It was sweetness, nonstop sweetness. But we never anticipated what was about to happen next. And I don't think the president did either. He thought, it can't be all that, right? We failed to realize the damage that 100 years of Woodrow Wilson and 8 years of Barack Obama, what had it done to our country?
Thank you, Shelley.
Progressives came in and underwent a massive heart transplant on our country. The heart is the core. But they changed it. They swapped it out and made it the administrative state, the deep state, where experts control everything in our lives because, in their view, we can't let the peasants make their own decisions. We know better, right? This was never meant to be our intended future. In George Washington's farewell address, he talked about the unity of the states and the principles of the new grand American experiment as being the heart of this great country. In Thomas Jefferson's inaugural address, he talked about the American people as a whole, as America's, quote, mighty heart. But you're not the heart anymore. Do you feel like you're the heart? Do you feel like you're the one that if you stop working, everybody goes, crap? I don't. I feel like they're trying to get you to stop working. It's almost like they don't care. You're not the heart anymore because the progressives removed our nation's heart, you and me, the ideas
hearts
of
and minds,
independence,
right?
and replaced it with the administrative deep state. Our founders foresaw this. They knew this would happen. But what they didn't have was the words deep state back in the late 1700s. I mean, they had to go potty outside. You expect them to come up with deep state? In Federalist 48, James Madison wrote, the accumulation of all powers, legislative, executive, judiciary, in the same hands, whether of one, a few, or many, and whether hereditary or self-appointed or elective, may justly be pronounced the very definition of tyranny. Oh man, that's a lot of big words. What is he talking about? He's saying you can't have everything run
Jacob Castro,
by just a few people
there you are.
in those private hands to make all of those decisions. That's tyranny. Our government has now fully conceded the powers of all three branches of the government to the bureaucrats,
Me
the
too.
ones that don't answer to anyone, including I think they don't even think they answer. Ask the State Department, do you work for the President of the United States? Nope. But wait, that's part of the administration. So that's supposed to be the boss, but they don't. Who runs the country right now? Don't even think about that because I have no idea. Where's Kamala? Where's Biden? I don't know. At the beach,
Anybody know
in
who runs the
space, could
country
be
right
anywhere.
now? Anybody?
Let's just move on from that thought. And metaphorically, who is running our country? Is it the elected officials or is it the EPA, the people at the Department of Energy, the Department of Labor, or the trade unions? Who really affects your life? The president or the guy who comes in with a little piece of paper and pencil and says, yeah, I'm from the federal government? What
Right?
decides law and order and
Bureaucrats.
justice? Is it the Constitution? Or is it a handful of vengeful, spiteful, and petty grievances from people at the DOJ, FBI, or the ridiculous Ninth Circuit Court? However, the Ninth Circuit Court has been surprising lately. I will just say that. Now, I say that is it a bunch of vengeful, spiteful people? If you're on the left, you say, that's exactly who he's going to bring in. He's going to, good for you. Good. You've got the first half of the equation. No one should be afraid of the administrative state. We should be able to switch presidents, and one side shouldn't be like, they're going to arrest us in the middle of the night. That's a sign there's a problem. Now, who sets our foreign policy? President and Congress? Or is it more faces deep within? I used to think of the State Department. Now I think it's the State Department and the CIA, the Pentagon, maybe the people at Boeing. I don't know. I mean, they can't keep planes in the sky. It seems like they're run with the government now. The answer to these questions, you know them just as well as I do. And this scared the hell out of our founders. Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1816, and if I may quote, the functionaries of every government have propensities. Can't you just dumb it down to command at the will, the liberty and property of their constituents? If that happens, there is no safe deposit for these, but with the people themselves, nor can they be safe with them without information. What's he saying here? I have no idea. Too many big words. The deep state now controls at will our liberty, our property, our freedom. You don't think that's true? How about what just happened with COVID? What is, if you're on the left again, what are you afraid Donald Trump will do? He'll use what? The Justice Department, weaponize it against you, your friends, his enemies? Right, that's what we've been saying for 4 years. Right. And that's what nobody's really talking about. They keep talking about the two sides, but both of the sides have helped create this mess where we're all afraid of the deep state. The information that Jefferson was talking about, now what's called the fourth branch of government, is the legacy media. We elect figureheads with mandates, but when they arrive, do things really change? They're just going into offices that don't really control anything. Alexander Hamilton wrote in Federalist 70, quote, listen, if this doesn't sound like where we are now, a feeble executive implies feeble execution of the government.
Wow, we got that
government
right now.
ill
don't we?
executed, whatever it may be in theory, must be in
Only
practice
for a few more days.
a bad government. No feeble executive comes to mind here. Consider this. The men that founded this nation say the opposite of what the mainstream media always says about people like me. They just hate the government. They just want to tear it all apart.
Right.
Well, not in the way you mean it, but our founders hated the government. They hated it. They saw the administrative deep state as something far more terrifying than we ever will because they lived through it.
Yeah.
George Washington, in his farewell address of 1796, said it the best, quote, "Government is not reason. It is not eloquence. It is force. And force, like fire, is a dangerous servant and a fearful master." I want the t-shirt. We were warned about all of this, but everywhere, everything the founders feared is now beating stronger than ever, right at the core of the American body. May I? Don't do this at home again because I am a doctor. This patient has been very, very ill in the last few episodes. We got to get rid of the lungs because this is what's happened. We won the election battle, right?
I like the little demonstrations he does so people can get it. Blue Lantern, what's up? How you doing? We elected Obama with the mandate to end wars in the Middle East and to end deep state spying on Americans. He laughed at us and betrayed us all. Well, yeah, he's a Marxist. Of course he did. Of course he lied again. We were very the world was very stupid. In fact, we were very ill informed about him, and there's a bunch of lies out there. We're much more sophisticated. His betrayal was our evolution, you know, and unfortunately, we're still reeling from that betrayal. But he was born to destroy this country. He's groomed to destroy this country. Have you seen the film Dreams from My Real Father? We played that on Old School Watch Party Sundays. You can watch the complete episode over on Rumble. Check that one out if you haven't seen it. Yeah, there's no way. Nobody. I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't give him any mandate. He ran on Yes We Can, fundamentally changing us into a Marxist utopia. Utopia for some, dystopia for others. Yeah. He was never going to do any of that. But I remember that too. Like he was supposed to be who's going to end the wars, right? He expanded the wars. He did. And so I was on team Ron Paul, you see. And we were going to end the wars. That was what, and then all the people who voted for Obama when that didn't happen, he expanded it. They still were too dense to come over to the Ron Paul side. Some of them did. And we would put the war thing in their face. Be like, hey, Ron Paul is really going to do it. Aren't you still anti-war left? Don't you want to end the wars? Yeah, we're going to see you, Blue Lantern. Yeah, his betrayal was our evolution. Yeah, we got more sophisticated. Dreams from My Real Father. There it is right there. Check that out if you haven't seen it. I'm telling you, this one, so many people missed this documentary. And then there were other people like on there, or was it Candace Owens had that dude on and claimed to have been that, it was his stepfather that was the real problem. No. Look at this. Watch this documentary. All these people who think they know something about Obama miss this thing. This is like the most, Joel Gilbert did the most intense research on it. And he actually, if you watch that video right there, I added some bonus content at the end with an interview with Joel Gilbert and one of Obama's brothers at the end. So you'd think if he was off about this, there's his brother who's got a chance to take a swipe at him and say, hey, man, don't talk about my brother like that, but that's not what happened. So if you really want to open some eyes to some people that were Obama believers, check out Dreams from My Real Father. It's an eye-opener. I don't know, but I want to see Winning break out and sing Peg by Steely Dan. No. Save your super chat money for that one. I had to would get the lyrics out because I don't even know the lyrics of that off the top of my head.
But the real war, it's just getting started. I'm going to show you the real war of what's really going to happen here in the next few weeks. Oh, it's not what you think. We gave the Trump administration a historic mandate to dismantle the deep states. Okay, there's lots of deep state in this part of the body. You know what I'm saying? And like all hostile regimes, when you try to do it, the primary function when it's under attack becomes survival. Right now, if this was a real body and I just took out its, well, it'd be dead. But let's just say the whole body would be working to survive right now. That's what we experienced during Trump's first term. And it's about to happen again at lightning speed, because now the surgeon has scalpels. Now the surgeon knows what he's looking for. And the deep state survival technique is the old progressive model. It's top down, bottom up, inside out, and overwhelm and collapse. So they'll do everything they can to distract. You know, it's usually a bloody process, sometimes metaphorically, sometimes not. But it's over time, what they do is they take all the organs out, and then they might put them back in, but because we're talking since Woodrow Wilson, it's more like they said, okay, we're going to jam a Coke in here, stapler. I got this really nice bendy straw that makes itself into a pineapple. That's kind of cute. Let's put that there. Probably that's a bad place to put it. We have the labor union, so we need a pipe and a wrench, and I got an empty bottle of Fiji, some scissors, and okay. That's what they've done. This is what they've done to our country and its organs. It was never built.
Corrupted it.
Do you think this guy's going to live? Look at him.
Yeah, I mean, Marxism is a subversion of the Constitution. Any Marxist idea. I heard what someone mentioned a Tim Pool video, that 40-minute video he did today. He's like, wow, I saw he was right. It's Tim Pool, 50% Tim, right? 50% Tim. He's 50% right about some stuff and says some really cool and good things that shows, you know, progress. And then 50% of it, he's just in his own head and unresearched and unwilling to check his own belief systems, right? And you start saying wokeness is not part of cultural Marxism, and it's not part of critical theory. And so I quickly debunked that and saying that, well, if you remove cultural Marxism, because they're derivatives of each other. If you remove cultural Marxism, then critical theory doesn't exist. Then wokeism doesn't exist. So where are you going with that, man? You don't got that right. But he came up with this whole like contrived thing in his head about, well, so and so is like this, and so and so is like that. See, this is how I'm right. They had then he said something about like, oh yeah, this is where the fallacies come in. I was like, you're committing a major fallacies right here. Just go to the root, man. If it wasn't there, it wouldn't be there, right? If this didn't exist, then this wouldn't exist because this created this. Take it away. That's how you prove whether or not it can stand on its own or not. And it can't because it came from that place. You know, it's just history. I mean, it's just research and history. But anyways, I forgot where I was going with that. But
not a chance. All right.
Hold on. Back it up where I remember.
It was never built. Do you think this guy's going to live? Look at him. Not a chance. All right. Their goal is to make everything a mess. But
he was saying he agrees with some of Marx's positions. I was like, you know, I'm sorry, but there's no room for Marxism in a constitutional republic. It was literally designed to destroy countries like ours. If you let any of it in, you know, let any of it in as it is, right? Any of the philosophy, like, well, it's okay. We can get by. Dude, it's literally caused all the world wars. Right? It's collapsing freedom across. It's killed more people than any other philosophy or style of government ever. Right? And then you try to integrate that toxic philosophy, that subversive, anti-American philosophy into our constitutional republic and say that that's okay. I agree with some of the stuff he's saying about the dude. Look, old Blue Eyes, what's up, Blue Eyes? How you doing? I won $50 on the scratch off, Christmas scratch off in Jacksonville. I did. $50. How about that? So that was a $30 profit on the scratch off. That's the problem. It's like Marxism is a subversion of our constitutional rights and our constitution. It wants to take property and rights away from you and give it to the government. You know, and say, well, I agree with some of Marx's points on this and that. You think they're really Marxist points, first of all? Who is this Marx guy, right? well, especially some political genius, right? There's people behind him, right? He was just a writer, but he gets the name and he gets the face and all this. The guy was a drunk. He had indentured servants. You know, you hate George Washington and Thomas Jefferson because they were around and they were prosperous in the time of slavery in America, and they had slaves at some point. And so now Marxists will use that as a way to make people hate America and say our foundation is racist and all this other shit, right? Yet their king, their lord and savior, Karl Marx, had indentured servants to which he left absolutely nothing when he died. Absolutely nothing. Historical facts you can look up if you're not lazy, right? To those people out there who worship Marx or think he has some good ideas. You know, there's always going to be a hierarchy when there is business and industry between the people who take the risk, create the idea, create the product, create the business, the service, and the people that work for them, right? And guess what? To anybody who's working for them, who would switch places with them, they won't want it any other way, right? It's just the people who want something for nothing that get behind the idea that this the proletariat and the bureau, you know, these people they're always going to oppress you, and that's why the people must be in charge of everything. Yeah, right. Like you're going to get people to get together and organize, and this is the whole problem with anarchism too. It's like you're going to get everybody to behave at one time and not kill each other when there's no consequences or government. Oh, we'll organize and we'll have polite discussions, and everybody will just suddenly behave right. It's the same idea with this. That's why they fool people into Marxism. They say, oh no, the people will get together and vote, and it'll be a democracy, and it'll be great. We'll all be equal, and everything will be awesome. Bullshit. There's always going to be those people that are trying to game the system. There's always going to be those broken people out there that try to hurt others and get off on it. They totally erase the idea of the differences between people, right? The difference between people that have deficiencies or skewed mentalities, right? That have had trauma and abuse and things that have shifted that have shifted their mentality into something dangerous. Hang on a second. All right. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a condition we have to attend. We have to, there's going to be people with different abilities. It's just like there's nothing about Marxism that's good, that's right, and that works. It's the story told to dress up tyranny in such a way to get people to buy into it so they can then activate them and subvert others with it, to make people hate their freedom and want to hand it over to the worst amongst us. That's what Marxism is. It's a grift. And anybody who thinks Karl Marx was sincere about anything he said is a fool. They're just not, they haven't been educated enough to the point of seeing the grift. Marxism is a grift by authoritarians to destroy freedom. That's all it is. It has no place in our constitutional republic, has no place in a sovereign free country with free people in it who have rights bestowed upon them by life, not by government. And I will go as far as to say as it has no place in our future, and we should do away with it in every single way. All right, let's get back to this.
Heart, their core, not the way our founders saw it, but the way they see it. The deep state, that stays right in the middle. And in fact, if they're successful, it grows stronger because it replaces all of the natural organs, you and me.
Yuri Bezmenov said this in the 80s, when talking about ideological subversion, which again, a derivative of cultural Marxism, right? A result of, a mechanism of, a strategy of the cultural Marxist, said, our goal is to put something in between people, like a bureaucracy, a permanent bureaucracy. He literally spelled it out in the 80s. And Glenn knows this. I think he's just kind of breaking it. Like he feels like he needs to come on here and like he's talking, he's kind of dumbing it down, right? But the thing about this is Glenn's in his own And Glenn, like Tucker, and like everybody else, they're in their own echo chambers, right? Like the people that are listening to Glenn right now, on a regular, or like subscribe to his channel and whatnot, are already well educated on the matter, So let's get down to the root. Let's just stop talking about, I guess he's hoping maybe some new people will see this. But let's get down to the root, man. He knows what the root is. He knows. That's why I play his stuff now. I didn't used to like Glenn Beck, but he's on top of the deep state and the globalist agenda. He calls it out for what it is, and he's earned my respect back. So now he gets some airtime over here, and I comment on his stuff. But dumbing it down a little bit. So let's get to the point here.
The deep state has actually already been doing this ever since Trump's first term, just trying to survive.
It's been doing this since long before Trump's term. It's been doing this for decades. All right, let's call it out.
Reacting to the trauma, drawing in all of the blood to keep themselves alive. It's called shock. Jacob. And we've all been feeling the effects. Think about what's been happening over the past 8 years. The intelligence community, justice systems, weaponized against a sitting president and his supporters. Meanwhile, it decriminalizes people that break the law, turning the American cities into war zones and turning the criminals into the good guys and the good guys into criminals.
Been happening for decades, man. Been happening for decades. They accelerated more out in the open now than ever. Evolution, evolution of the cause. People realizing what's going on. Technology, all these things helped, right? Imagine if we were still back in the day of television and newspapers. Like the worst thing they ever did was let us advance, right? It's like we'd have 3 channels, right? And 3 newspapers or whatever, some newspapers. They could totally control the narrative. They would be way ahead of us. Like they should have really did their breakaway society. They should have put their elitists up on the hills, right? And let it only be stories about the technology they had. We'd still be using radios, and maybe we'd have Walkmans. Maybe they cut off technology at a little, probably like right in the 80s. If they just stopped us right there, right? That would have served them well. It was the advancements past that. It was the internet, the age of the internet, our ability to connect faster, and so on. Maybe we would have found a way around it. I don't know. But if they had just really hammered down in the 80s, they could have gotten away with it. But it wasn't for those damn kids.
Scientists and experts ran our COVID response. Now, we all gave them the benefit of the doubt at the beginning because we thought nobody knew what we were dealing with, but they did know what they were dealing with. And they destroyed our civil liberties and our health in the process. They destroyed our kids' education. Why? Because the labor unions had a lead pipe in here. Organizations like FEMA have failed the victims in North Carolina. Why? That used to be a pretty well-run organization. We got to a point in the last few years where baby food was scarce. We're the United.
Was it well run back in the Bush administration? No. The rot has been happening for a very long time. It's just been accelerating with time. And as the agenda draws clear, you see that the thing is they had to construct they had to construct the new world they were trying to bring in. They had to put the construction in, the parallel construction. They had to wait for generations for older people to die off so that the new, more indoctrinated people would be the ones that would be willing to do the work and not see the walls they're in, right? Not remember the history of the way it actually was. That's how these things got accelerated. And like J. Michael Waller points out in his book, Big Intel, the problem wasn't the problem is we didn't know what was going on. It's the problem that people that knew that was what was going on aged out, and people that were replaced by them, the ones that were aging out were the ones that had the critical theory education, the ones that had been subverted early, right? Abused early. So now they're willing to do the work, willing to further the wrong cause, right? Thinking that's just the way it was, and that's what was right. Right? They'd already been subverted, demoralized. That was the point, right? So this is, again, generational warfare calls for a generational response. We can't expect to snap our fingers and have everything go back to the way it was. It's going to take generations of work to make it work, to undo the damage, because it took generations of damage to get us to where we're at today. I think everybody here gets that, but for anybody who's new, maybe listening for the first time, there you have it. Oh, Blue Eyes. Hey, Donna, how's it going? good to see ya. Welcome to the show.
United States of America. People couldn't afford the basics like eggs. Cargo ships were smashing into bridges in record numbers. Fires were destroying our critical infrastructure. China flew a balloon over the country and we did nothing.
Okay, so is anybody as outraged about him about that as he is? I mean, but what's with the balloon? First of all, balloons are, that's very old school, isn't it? They flew 4 actually. It's just the next 3 we didn't talk about. But okay, we eventually did something about it, and we were trying to observe it. I mean, it wasn't a lack of response. I think it was just intelligence gathering kind of thing. I think that's what it was. So I'm not that surprised they didn't shoot it down right away. As long as it wasn't spitting fire and COVID viruses everywhere, it was probably okay to watch it for a second. What are they going to get? Like, what kind of intelligence are they really gathering with the balloon? It was a test to see how we would respond, probably the same way they would. Observe it, analyze it, try to understand why it's there, and then blow it up. That's what we did.
The first day he was in office, Biden issued the military a stand-down order for political motives, all the while bungling things like Afghanistan. This body is in shock. Well,
I feel like he's talking to the noobs
the
here.
deep state draws desperately every ounce of energy and blood it can muster. It is attempting to prevent a total heart failure, and it's about to get worse. But that's the only organ we really need to work on, and I can't get this organ.
Because Marxists are always after your hearts and your minds, right? That's what subversion is about. I'll tell you what. I'll respond to this as soon as we get through this video.
Out of here. This is the organ. We need to work on this one. Their heart, the progressive deep state. This is why we can't bask in the election victory for very long. When we come back to work, we got to come back to work. We all said, oh, well, Donald Trump has it fixed. No. That's great. But we have to be involved in all of this. We can't make the same mistake we made in 2016. Progressives never see themselves as fully losing an election. All they do is just shift into pumping more blood into the heart. Tonight, I'm going to show you their attack plan. It's advancing exactly as expected. I'm going to show you exactly what Trump and his movement have standing in their way. And it's going to come top down, bottom up, inside out. The shadow cabinet that's being formed right now. They kept saying there's no deep state. Now they'll come out and tell you, well, we need to put together, out loud on the floor of the Senate, we need to put together a shadow cabinet. What? The federal judges, the state legislators, the governors, this is already all of it in play to pump blood into the deep state and protect that deep state. They will leverage the federal judges to block everything the administration tries to do.
Here we go. Here's the important part of all this. Now we finally got to it.
The building of coalitions of state legislators and governments to throw up an iron curtain, but it will also come from the bottom up. Now, most people think Antifa or BLM, but later in the show, I'm going to show you what the ACLU did to Trump during his first term, and you can bank on the fact.
ACLU, why is that still around? Why? Because it has the word American in it? I've been over that. I've been over it. The ACLU was put in to defend subversion and subversive activities and agents. It should not exist. It needs to go. Tatum talking about going after people that have Islamic or radicalized thoughts and whatnot. To get rid of the goddamn ACLU, man. That's a grift and a half. That's a Marxist grift and a half, man. That shit needs to go yesterday. To not be allowed to operate in American courts should completely remove the enablement of it and run its reputation to the mud because it deserves it. It's nothing more than a shield for tyranny.
In fact, they're planning on doing something just like that right now. In the end, everything inside out.
Yeah, see right there. He's got it right there. Street soldiers. Do you think they're going to reactivate these guys? Look, here's another thing about this right here. I'll say before it even gets to it. Antifa, for the most part, is a socialist kind of queer Marxist organization now, right? Yes, it can be activated. So they can be activated in certain ways, or they can use what they know about them to put them in certain situations, right? So they're, but I don't think they're under the command of, or they're viewed as Democrats. They don't view themselves that way. If you pay attention to their socialist meetings and their gatherings and their conferences, they don't refer to themselves like that. They're anti, they're Marxist left, like they're hard Marxist left. And so I explained that there's a Marxist paradigm underneath our own paradigm here, right? There's a Marxist left and a Marxist right. And they often get blended in with the political parties that are known to be on the left and on the right, even though that paradigm is truly what we have is the establishment, those who benefit and are useful to the establishment, right? The corrupt establishment, and those who are awake, aware, and resisting, who are the anti-establishment. That's you. If you're here, that's you, right? That's the true paradigm. That's the real deal, right? And Marxist, the far right Marxists, the Patriot Front fuckheads, and the Free Palestine socialist fuckheads they're in their own little worlds, but they get mixed into ours. But these people don't vote. They don't. If they do, they're usually enabling the establishment, the corrupt establishment, right? So let's throw them all in the establishment category because they're not really part of what we're doing here, right? Nor are they resisting the bad stuff that's going on. They think that they got their own thing going on, but they're Marxist left, Marxist right. That's what that is. But you could throw them in as useful idiots to the establishment. So I guess that's what he's doing here, right? I think that what we're going to see is a new thing. You heard it here, maybe first, maybe not, but I think we're going to see a new thing here. You guys, and you might as well throw the LGBTQ in here too, because as an organized group, they work with these two groups right here, right? You might as well throw them in as the street soldiers, because that movement right there has absolutely no other use, right? There is no rights to be had. There is no any other cause except for marketing, promotions, and disruption. They have nothing else to, and demoralization and destabilization, which is really what street soldiers do, right? They demoralize, they destabilize, and they try to create crises, and often they do. Small micro crises, riots, if you will. Well, let's let them continue. You guys got anything going on? If you describe, okay, all right, cool. Let's go.
And when that happens,
but when you say shadow cabinet, they talked about that. Federal judges will get rid of those, right? We have to address those, get rid of them. And state legislations, man, that's us. That's on us to make sure that the wrong people don't get in and to run the right people. If you're a decent person, got a decent record, consider state legislation. And what does that say? Governors. Yeah, that's on us too. Dude, that's two of these are on us, and two of this is on the administration. Right? Disassemble, disable, and make this shadow cabinet mean absolutely nothing. I don't even know how they could run something like that, but I guess we'll figure out what they're gonna try to do with that. I think there's more to this, honestly, but we'll let them finish.
It kind of looks like this guy. It doesn't really work out. Doesn't our country kind of feel like that? It's a mess. But what stays right at the center of the body? The heart. That should be us. Over the next few months and years, this is what we are fighting for. We won this election, but we're still very much in opposition mode.
Okay, so what he said, it was an okay report. What he said was basically, it's a fight for hearts and minds. I think we've known that for a long time. Thomas, what'd you say here, man? This caught my attention. Armored Skeptic, I remember that guy. He's pretty decent. Is saying the balloon was because people kept attributing the drones they sent as UFOs, and they wanted people to know it was China, like they wanted to intimidate us. What? Armored Skeptic said the balloon was it. What is he saying? It's not a balloon? What's he saying here? I don't know, but I would highly doubt that, since we shot it down and know it was a balloon. And since there's three others, but the whole thing was like when people, we said it was a Chinese balloon, people started freaking out, So they just didn't tell them about the other ones. They said, well, we don't know what those are. Right. And then, like I've been saying for the last several episodes, including during Drone Apocalypse series, is that all the government has to do is say they don't know what it is, and all of a sudden people are attributing it to aliens, right? UFO has become synonymous with aliens instead of just something that we can't identify, right? And what is identifiable to some people, right, is not identifiable to others. So the term UFO isn't even completely all encompassing, right? It's just one of those trick things that are going on, and then now they've relabeled it to UAPs, right? So that can include everything, right? And not to be an object, it can be a phenomena, right? So yeah, it's all games. It's all games. The when people think it's a foreign adversary over their head, they're more likely to freak out and become paranoid and fearful and do crazy things, right? When they think it's a unidentified flying object, it could be anything. Could be ET coming back to visit Elliot and bring his to get some sweet Reese's Pieces for the ride back to his home. It could be Close Encounters with alien contact, something so exciting and so take us into the future. But then it opens the door for like Stephen Greer and all the, the Galactic Federation of light chumps that come out marching out. See, we told you. They're coming. And disclosure's coming. It's coming. Right? Disclosure, UFO disclosure. And I've been saying it for decades, but you keep saying it and it never happens. And it won't happen. What's the date? What date is it? It's 2nd, right? Oh boy. We got between 15 and 20, right? We got another date where we get to prove that Stephen Greer is nothing but a grifter, right? Nothing but a con artist who makes a very good living conning people into believing a bunch of shit that ain't true. The point is the balloon was sent to dumb it down so people wouldn't recognize it as a human foe, saying, I see what you are doing. I still don't get it, what you're saying. I still don't get it. The balloon was you're saying that the Chinese sent the balloon as a troll. They were trolling us with the balloon. So people would recognize it as a human foe. Oh, instead of a UFO. I think I'm finally starting to get you. So they sent the balloon instead of a drone, so it couldn't be mistaken for a UFO. Yet they still did it 3 more times. That's how easy it is to do in the great US of A. All right, let's get back to the program here. What we got next? Let me close that down. Oh yeah. He was talking about this. It's like 20 minutes. I'm gonna review that maybe. Here we go. More obstruction. Here, let's get back to something more obstruction coming. Something that's we can look forward to here in the next few days. We'll see how this pans out. Okay. Oh my goodness. It's gonna start off with something very cringy. Very cringy coming up. I promise you. You will cringe. But then we'll see one of our favorites come on up. In the base squad. Yeah. Let's go.
Okay, y'all. The news is hitting. It's looking like Kamala is coming back, y'all. She coming back.
God. She coming back, y'all.
From the dead. If you
Come
kept
back
hope
from the
alive,
dead.
it's all right. It's gonna work out for us, y'all. I've been worried. I've been nervous. I've been sick ever since November 4th. I have not been able to look at TV. I haven't been making videos. I just had to walk away.
Oh, we've all missed
for
you.
the very first time, I heard on CNN. I heard them
discussing. Then it's the truth, girl. It's the truth.
What is happening, and it is turning in our favor, guys. They are looking at this shit, and they know that it wasn't right. They know that we got cheated. They know that he stole it.
Oh, it's insurrection.
And they had laid the trap already.
Oh,
they already laid the trap, and it's coming back. Mr. Gardner, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, what channel is this lady on? I want to make sure I like get her reactions when none of this shit happens. That's what I want to see. That's a reliable network, right? All CNN done told me Kamala coming back. They done laid the trap. They done laid it because he stole the election by getting too many people to vote for him. He stole it. It's a lesbian crack. Oh my God. I can't, she can't watch anything but CNN. I've been looking for confirmation bias everywhere. I can't find it. Luckily, CNN done did it. Oh yeah. Get on here. Make lots of videos about this, please. Please. And make sure to make the reaction video when you get the results. All right.
This is amazing. We needed this. We needed this. We need you at this,
We means me in this case, right?
this moment and at this time. Glory to God. Mama,
God ain't looking after you, girl. Well, maybe he is. He's a pretty nice guy. But yeah, you keep voting for evil. He's gonna be like, man, I keep trying to inspire you not to vote for evil, not to put your consent behind evil, but yet you keep doing it. You know, you keep doing it. I know, right? It's confusing.
we miss you. Where you at? Come on out here and talk to us.
Boy. So we got to talk about the Trump deranged liberals currently hoping and praying for a miracle to stop President-elect Trump from becoming their president again. Okay. And we know how deranged these liberals are and how far they will go to try to stop the former president from taking back the White House, because we saw that at the very least, one of the would-be assassins that tried to kill the president during the campaign season was a radicalized leftist. Okay, he was radicalized by the Democrat Party in the mainstream liberal media. And that was the motivation for him trying to take out the former president. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised by anything that these liberals try to pull to stop Trump from becoming president again. Okay, and in this video, we got to talk about liberals begging Kamala Harris and the Democrats to do just that, right? They're begging Kamala Harris to stop the certification of Trump as the next president of the United States by Congress. They're begging her to step up and to stop that from happening as vice president on January 6th. Take a look.
Yeah, do it.
Guys, get this. Kamala Harris is actually legally allowed to reject the certification of Donald Trump because of his January 6th insurrection. Legal experts wrote in an op-ed for The Hill that the certification of Trump's election could be legally rejected because of the very little used oath-breaking insurrection clause of the 14th Amendment in the Constitution.
So there's still idiots out there who think that that's a real thing. How is that even possible? Well, I mean, hold on. Look, I guess consider the source, right? I mean, look.
They say that the evidence pointing to Trump's role in the January 6th Capitol riot is overwhelming, and Democrats must stop him from taking office by blocking.
What's this guy's name? James M. Kohler? What an idiot.
The election certification process. The clause basically states that if you've taken an oath of office before and you engaged in insurrection, then you're disqualified from holding office again. The Supreme Court basically didn't have enough evidence to say that Trump is an insurrectionist, if you will, but Kamala Harris can still legally block the certification process of Trump.
No, she can't. And no, she won't.
And then she will replace Trump as president. The chances of this.
There's nothing wrong with that at all, right? That's not an insurrection. That's not a coup, right? That's none of those things. That's perfectly legal. This is how deranged these people are. From a hysterical black woman to deranged feminized male. They're just buying their own shit, aren't they? Drinking their own Kool-Aid, right? I know, man. I know. What, right? I know. This is God. Oh man.
Actually happening are pretty slim due to Democrats' respect for democracy and the democratic process.
Oh yeah, it's slim due to that, and it's not because it's completely wrong. And like it's a respect for democracy.
But it's still fun to have hope.
What's happening over there on MSNBC?
Fun to have hope. That's your hope. Your hope is something completely illegal and unconstitutional happens. Have fun with that.
We're talking about, no, it wasn't a seismic shift, and no, it wasn't a landslide, and no, he doesn't have a mandate, just to kind of have those
The last
waters
guy
a
had a
little
mandate,
tempered
that was for
down
sure.
when. I say when. Some people think it's not going to happen, but I think it's going to happen when
Right?
they finally reveal that he didn't really win, at least not by the traditional means of what we think the beauty contest is supposed to be won by.
What? What did she just say? What did she just say? She said the traditional beauty contest? That's the way she thinks of our elections? And she's got those glasses on? I thought mine were bad. Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams says Trump re-election was not a seismic shift or a landslide. No, but she is. You know, some places got Bigfoot. Ireland's got the Loch Ness Monster. Canada's got Yetis. Georgia's got Stacey Abrams. Stacey, who's listening to Stacey Abrams? Look at Stacey, power hungry Stacey, hungry, power hungry Stacey Abrams. A disgrace, a two-time loser, even though she harvested ballots and tried to keep counting after the elections. Two-time loser of the Georgia governor race. Disgraced. You know that Stacey Abrams, all her money, most of her money came, especially her first run, most of her money came from Hollywood. There weren't people in Georgia weren't giving her money. She got her money from George Soros and Hollywood. What does that tell you? Right? She's a fraud. And this woman's like, oh, yeah, see? Wouldn't want a traditional sense where people voted and the majority of people's votes went to the winner, and the winner is not going to be president. No, it was something else that no one's going to talk about here. They don't know what it is either. They just know, well, he had to cheat it because we look at the way we won in 2020. Instead of thinking, well, maybe we cheated in 2020 and that's why he didn't win that time, because suddenly there's 20 million missing votes of people that had never voted before that election that are now not gone, because, well, guess what? Eyes were on the cheating. We figured out the cheating system in the 4 years you guys were ruining the country, driving it into the ground, advancing your different Marxist agendas on us. But anyways, let's let her finish.
And that he will not necessarily be taking that oath come January.
Well, he'll be taking it.
It says former Harris advisor says, quote, she will be back. And this is on.
That doesn't mean she'll be back in the White House or as president or as vice president or that she'll ever see the executive again. It means she'll be back somewhere. They think probably talking about governor, right? In California, if you elect Kamala Harris as your governor, you deserve the big earthquake. That's all I can say. And to everybody who's based in California, if Kamala Harris becomes governor, leave. Come to a cool state. You'll make new friends. I promise you, it'll be awesome. Sell all your shit, the highest price to those dumbasses, and get the hell out. Seriously, just leave. I was gonna leave Georgia if Stacey Abrams had stolen the election. I was gonna leave. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I'm not gonna sit in a state where that woman's in charge. No way. No way.
On the Hill, that Simone Sanders Townsend, a former top advisor to Vice President Harris, said Monday that Harris will be back after her 2024 White House race loss amid speculation about the outgoing vice president's next steps. Quote, I don't think the world has seen the last of Vice President Kamala Harris. I don't know how she will show up again, but she is a young politician who garnered over 75 million votes.
Because she was a Democratic nominee. She got no primary votes. She got no primary votes, and she got put into that position to get those Democrat desperate Trump deranged syndrome, cultural Marxist subverted minds, those lost souls known as Democrat voters. She got those. I mean, those were given. And their ham sandwich, their Democratic ham sandwich would have gotten the same votes. And probably most of those were still fabricated.
in this election, and she will be back. I think this is one of the first little granules. I know they're talking about her White House loss. Personally, you know how I feel about that. But I do think Simone Sanders Townsend is doing what I think a lot of people would do to prep people for her eventual re-immersion. I think she thinks she's done, but she's going to come back in some sort of way, whether as governor or something else, maybe the
Okay,
2028
now you're
cycle.
starting to get
But
it.
I personally think she is laying the
She's
foundation,
60 years
sowing
young.
the seeds a little bit for her eventual showing up as she would to do her job on January 6th, to do whatever the administrative part of the certification of the election is going to be, but also to say, I think
she's gonna be showing up at an AA meeting.
The world has seen the last of her. I don't know how she's going to show up again, because she actually does know how she's going to show up. She's going to show up January 6th for sure. But she's a young politician. The word choice here is so chef's kiss, because we all know that Donald Trump is not necessarily a spring chicken. And then who garnered over 75 million votes in this election, putting that back out there that she
Did you really think that's credible? These people are so deranged.
didn't just, I don't know, get 1 or 2 votes. She got 75 million votes, okay? And I just think,
This is 75 million crazy people that watch mainstream media. Yeah, we call that the establishment narrative, the first veil, right? We call that. Yeah, those people are trapped. It's unfortunate. Most of them don't have the ability or the willingness to look outside their own narratives because they're too busy getting high and fucking off and thinking they're right? Instead of questioning, why does the world suck? Oh, they just blame it on Donald Trump because they saw it on TV, right? Why did it get better when Joe Biden was in charge then? Scott Freedom. What's up, my friend? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. We're just talking about what a crazy wild world this is.
It's a little bit of sprinkling that thing like she ain't gone. She's not gone. You may not see her. We all think she's working in the background, but I'm just saying.
We all think she's working in the background.
I think this is one of those moments where people who wanted to talk badly, wanted to say, oh, her campaign was such a failure. Well, you know what? People who were advising her on this campaign is saying she is not done.
Yo, I love how liberals have gone full-blown conspiracy theory territory.
Isn't it great?
Hoping, praying, wishing, begging for Kamala Harris to do something, right? To do something about Orange Man becoming their president again, okay? But what's even funnier, why I'm laughing about this, is because even if Kamala Harris had the stones,
Good to see you too, Scott.
which I don't
Good to
think that
see
she
you
has
too,
the
man.
stones to actually attempt to stop Trump from becoming president, but who knows? Again, I wouldn't put anything past
Right.
these lunatic Democrats, right? But I'm just saying, I just don't think
so.
that Kamala Harris is built for that. I don't think she's about that life. But even if she wanted to, right? Even if she wanted to try to stop the certification, Democrats are the people that made it a lot more difficult for the VP to do anything about the certification of the election after January 6th of 2021, okay? Because they came together and they passed legislation in order to make it damn near impossible for the VP to try to overturn the outcome of the election. And this is why you have some Kamala Harris stands who are upset with the liberal conspiracy theorists that are continuing to suggest that Kamala Harris should do something about Trump becoming president again.
So Sherry Jacobus, and I hope I'm saying your last name correctly, political strategist and ex-GOP with a Patreon, by the way, called Politics with Sherry, believes that Vice President Kamala Harris has the ability to not certify the election. Well, Sherry, as a political strategist and somebody who has a Patreon and makes people pay for your political expertise, I've got some news for you. Let me take you back to 2022 when we had a functional Congress that was Democratic-led. When we passed the Armament Funding Bill, we included the Electoral Reform Presidential Transition Improvement Act. What that basically did was actually secure our elections so that way we wouldn't have another insurrection and to stop what happened on January 6th. For somebody who's supposed to be well-versed in politics, it seems like you don't know a lot.
Okay, so there's some education that needs to be done. I can see that.
Let me explain the new rules on the regulations. Number one, the vice president explicitly is only there ceremonially. She has no authority to reject or alter the votes. Number two, to eject the election votes, you would need support from 1/5 from both chambers of the House and Senate. And number three, governors must certify electors before election day. So back to this tweet real quick, Sherry. There's not a fuck thing that Vice President Kamala Harris is going to do. She's going to show face and then get the fuck on and walk in the sunset with Doug because that's what she deserves. She deserves a good life. Rather than burdening and putting more burdens on a black woman, what white women should have done is got their white sisters in gear in this election and actually vote for their better interest, which was vote for Vice President Kamala Harris.
That guy's an idiot.
Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but I find it hilarious to think about the fact that Kamala Harris in a few days is going to have to certify an election that she lost to Trump, aka Hitler. Okay. And Kamala Harris, even if she wanted to do something about it, she can't because Democrats in their Trump derangement went out of their way to make sure that the VP can't do anything about it. Now, while Kamala Harris may not be able to stop Trump from becoming their president again, you do have some left-wing legal crackpots who are putting out theories that, well, Congress, Democrats could step up and stop Trump from becoming president by objecting to certifying the Electoral College votes using the 14th Amendment, saying that, well, we think that Trump is an insurrectionist, therefore we do not certify the votes. We don't think that he should be president. This is what one left-wing lunatic is asking Democrats to do in Congress on January 6th. Take a look.
So if members of Congress who are sitting there wondering if they should affirm Electoral College votes for Donald Trump, address this question sort of honestly and intellectually, they could certainly say, I believe this is a matter for Congress, and I'm going to exercise my independent judgment. And I'm going to say, I am not permitted by my oath of office to certify electoral votes for an insurrectionist, even though I absolutely acknowledge the Supreme Court dicta, the ruminations, the thought experiment, because that wasn't the issue to be resolved in the case that was decided by the Supreme Court regarding the Colorado court's rulings. These are difficult issues, thorny issues, both legally and ethically. And I think each member of Congress is going to have to make the decision for themselves. What I would like to see, Brian, I would like to see them simply call for a vote on whether they want to vote in favor of removing the disqualification and see if they can get to the 2/3. Here's the thing. Let's just assume, let's play out our own thought experiment. Let's assume that Donald Trump is not certified because enough members of Congress say, I know what the Supreme Court said. And let me back up. I know I'm belaboring this point, but remember the issue the Supreme Court was
ridiculous. And you actually believe you're in bullshit, which is even funnier.
Supposed to decide is whether Colorado,
I'm so brainwashed. I'm actually sitting here trying to explain something that's completely ridiculous to you. Isn't that great? It could totally happen in my mind.
After ruling Donald Trump as an insurrectionist, whether Colorado can keep his name off a presidential primary ballot. That was the issue to be decided. Not only did they say, no, they can't keep his name off a primary ballot, but we're now going to engage in a thought experiment and issue advisory opinions and dicta to try to resolve an issue that has not been briefed or argued to us. That is the folly of this Supreme Court ruling. So I think against that backdrop, each member of Congress will have to decide if they feel bound by that Supreme Court dicta or they feel bound by their oath of office that says, let's see, I took an oath of allegiance, including to the 14th Amendment, Section 3. Donald Trump is an adjudicated insurrectionist.
But he's not, and you're an idiot.
I think we need to have a vote on whether we can remove the
We should have a vote on whether idiots like you could actually say dumb shit like this. Nah, not really. Go ahead, say all your dumb shit.
So let's go all the way and assume, I'm not saying this is the way it's going to play out, but let's assume Donald Trump is not certified on January 6th. We both know what will happen. This thing will shoot right up to the Supreme Court.
Oh, right up. Yeah, sure. Get excited there. Get excited there, disheveled leftist. Your fantasies could come true.
And interestingly, and maybe even ironically, then the issue might be met. Both parties will be asked to brief and argue whether there has to be an act of Congress or whether Congress can resolve this in the way they believe they must resolve it by not violating their oath to the Constitution and declining to vote to certify an insurrectionist and keep him from taking the oath of office.
But you'd like that, wouldn't you? You can go back to your little map activities on the side there.
See, seeing that you heard that. Okay, the far left MSNBC crackpot lawyer is essentially trying to encourage Democrats.
Is that who that was?
To test the Supreme Court, okay, to take their Trump derangement to a whole new level, okay, by saying, well, we feel like Trump is an insurrectionist, so therefore Democrats should disqualify Trump from becoming president of the United States by refusing to certify the election results based off the 14th Amendment. Okay, he's disqualified because he's an insurrectionist. Okay, and we know this because Colorado said so, right? The Colorado Secretary of State said so. Okay, this is the argument.
Yeah.
However, the Supreme Court, in their ruling against Colorado, said, well, no, the Secretary of State, the Colorado Democrats can't just decide that Trump is an insurrectionist and remove him from a federal ballot. No, that has to be done via an act of Congress. So this crackpot lawyer is essentially calling for Democrats to test the Supreme Court when it comes to their Colorado ruling, in which they basically established that only the federal government, only the Congress can disqualify the president, okay, from federal office. Essentially, he's saying, if Democrats can stage some type of insurrection against Trump, because that's what he's calling for, right, on January 6th, it will go to the Supreme Court, and we will see if the Supreme Court will uphold the precedent that they set, right? That's what the dude is calling for, right? That's essentially what he's begging for. Now, do I think that will happen? No, I do not think that will happen. at all. I think that this is a pipe dream. I just find it hilarious how these people, these liberals, have turned into everything that they claim they're against, right? They hate so-called MAGA conspiracies, which, by the way, are true, right? I mean, basically, all the MAGA conspiracies have been true for the last 4 years straight, right? They hate that, but yet they're putting out their own conspiracies. And again, you have this crackpot lawyer here who's obsessed with January 6th and Trump being an insurrectionist, essentially calling for Democrats to stage an insurrection against Trump. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but when they do it though, it's all right. It's democracy when they do it, right?
Because that is what Democrats would be doing. They would be overthrowing democracy. People voted for Trump, regardless of whether or not.
Not according to them. When they do it, it's not that. It's actually they're actually executing democracy when they do it. This anybody else does what they don't want, then that's when there's a problem.
Who believe that Trump is an insurrectionist and that he is disqualified? First and foremost, he hasn't been criminally charged, right? So again, in the court of law, in the criminal court of law, it has not been decided that Trump is an insurrectionist, okay? That he committed a crime against the United States of America. But regardless of whether or not you believe that, Trump got the votes, right? He got the votes. The people voted for him, okay? Despite the charges against him, despite the January 6th committee, all of these things, the American people said, we don't care. We want him to be president. And for these people to openly advocate for the Democrats to go against the will of the people, right, really tells you everything you need to know about how radicalized.
Yeah, but see, they justify that by saying that he didn't really win. He cheated. They won't say how. They don't know how. They just say that's the only possible explanation. There's no way that my worldview that thinks that everybody around me is just like me, and except for those far right people, those far rightists, right? There's Trump, the far right Trump MAGA base, which is just a few people, according to them, even though the rallies are, huge all over the country. In their worldview, everybody's like them, right? Because they see the optics that's been planted in the mainstream media and culture. And they believe that there's many more of them out there than there actually is. And that's the thing. That's why the optics are so effective.
The Democrat Party base is, right? These are the same people openly rooting for an insurrection, while at the same time, their whole thing against Trump is that he's an insurrectionist. Yep. But yet you're asking Democrats to stage an insurrection against Trump. That's what you're asking for.
Yeah, but they don't see that because hypocrisy is okay when you're on the left. When you're part of that, hypocrisy is like, that's just, you're, come on in. They don't know they've erased the word hypocrisy from the dictionary on their side. That's just normal behavior. It's okay to do that when you're with the establishment. It's all good. They do it all the time, so we can do it too.
I'm just saying. I hope these people don't get their hopes up. I don't think that Democrats are going to do much on January 6th. Who knows?
I really hope they do.
Object. A few of them might object, but
please get your hopes up.
The election results are not going to be overturned. Trump will be your president again, and you might as well get used to it, at least for the next 4 years. And I'm saying that because I think that all these people who are hoping and wishing and praying that Trump doesn't become their president again, I think that they probably should lay on somebody's couch and talk it out, right? Seek some mental help, okay? Seek mental help with your Trump arrangement, because it's going to drive you insane for the next 4 years if you don't come to grips with the reality that Trump won. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
That's the best way to come to grips with reality. Is like, share, and subscribe right here, right now. Let me get this laggy YouTube thing going on here tonight. Where are we at? Okay. Let's see. Trump last ad of 2024. Did I see this? Let me see this. Oh god, do I have to go through all this to see it? Okay. Well, I could go through Benny's intro.
Likely impossible is now.
We'll let him introduce it. You can introduce it, Benny, but then that's it. All right. Let's go.
From Dan Scavino. It's a banger of an ad. Here we go.
We can now project the winner of the presidential race. Donald Trump wins the presidency. What started off as unlikely, impossible, is now reality.
Reality.
I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down.
We have a president who actually fulfilled the promises he made during the campaign, securing the border to foreign policy.
He now has a record as president that's pretty damn impressive.
Breaking news drugs out of Palm Beach,
The FBI has executed an unprecedented search warrant at President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. The president has both sides of the political aisle up
is
in
a
arms.
dangerous and unstable moment in American history.
The Justice Department has just indicted former President Donald Trump.
For 7 years, they hated him, they targeted him, they hunted him.
This is the epitome of the abuse of the prosecutorial power to preempt political decisions.
I never thought anything like this could happen in America. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. America will always rise to every challenge and overcome every danger.
Donald Trump seems to always get stronger when challenged. These types of things, I think, give him strength.
When I'm reelected, I will totally obliterate the deep state.
Do it.
As long as we have pride in our beliefs, courage in our convictions, and faith in our God, then we will not fail.
Let's go.
Ooh,
all right.
That is just chilling. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I added that to the list just to kind of give us some inspiration there. Inspiration. I swear to God. Oh, here we go. Let's check out what's going on here at the border. We'll jump in about right here. This should work. Border news.
Tom Homan on Fox News, as he's now claiming that the company that purchased the border wall materials for basically nothing is now offering to return them to the Trump administration.
Let's
go. It's disgusting that they're going to take that border wall, which like you just said, we pay top dollar for, and selling it for pennies on the dollar. Now we got to rebuy it. It's ridiculous. However, a little bit of good news. One of the companies actually reached out to me, willing to give us that border wall products back at what they paid for it, the pennies on the dollar, giving us back for the same price. So I think Ken Paxton, the AG in Texas, took immediate action. I know I've been working with Lindsey Graham, taking immediate action. So right now I think we got them stopped, but it's insulting. They wait 4 years just before we take control to sell a main piece of our plan to secure that border.
Honestly, this is just wall point 1.0, V1. Like, this is not good enough. It really isn't. I mean, there needs to be another wall put up. Like, it needs to be this rusty old looking thing right here. People cut through it. We saw a line in the sand. We saw what happened. People climb over it. It is climbable. So unless you plan on doing something about that, those two problems, people go under it. But they, unless you plan on doing those, fixing those problems, this wall is better than what would have, better than nothing, but it's not perfect yet. And I need to know what the enhancements are going to be going forward to make this thing work. Because right now, the coyotes and the drug cartels, they're just cutting through it. They're climbing over it. It's not where it needs to be. So 1.0, finished 1.0, but I want 2.0. On the drawing board, ready to go.
Nasty piece of work. I'm glad it stopped.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. And really, I think it just goes to show the sentiment in the country. The general feeling and the policy priorities of the people are so antithetical to what the Democrats and their agenda is pushing that this is the kind of thing that's happening. There's such a demand for border security, not from the Republican Party, but from the people. And so the people stepped in, and in this case, a private corporation, and basically sabotaged the saboteurs. The Democrats, I think, got a little taste of their own medicine. They thought they'd be able to get away with this, but productive members living in these border states said absolutely freaking not. Will not happen. And they stepped in, bought all the materials, and now they're planning on shipping it right back, or probably just leaving it where they found it, to be honest. And this whole situation, I think, is a perfect example of how the Democrats play these partisan games. They're so consumed by their hatred for Donald Trump that they're willing to embarrass themselves to this degree. They're willing to undermine national security just to stick it to him. And obviously, when you're so consumed by rage, well, eventually you're going to end up stepping in it. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. Selling off border wall materials for a fraction of the value wasn't just a bad idea. It was clearly viewed as an act of spite. And I think everyone was able to see that.
Yeah,
and that's why people
spite,
jumped to action here.
indeed.
And what an amazing act of patriotism this was. And actually, as I'm saying this, I'm remembering a clip we played last time when we covered this story. This clip from Fox News with Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick.
Means business, and President Trump means business. And I don't know if you heard the latest today, Laura, but Joe Biden is now hauling off the border wall that's been lying down for years, and he wants to auction it off starting at $5 a piece. Message to the White House right now: I will bid on all of that wall, and we will buy it in Texas, and we will give it to Donald Trump. So I'm going to find out first thing in the morning where are we going to take the bid. I've got $1 billion in my pocket to do it. I write the
Wow. I wish I did.
budget with Senator Joan Huffman. We have the money. We're going to have about $6 billion in our budget for border security. We'll buy.
Just take it out of every Democrat's salary. So, yeah, Joe Biden, you don't get a salary. Kamala Harris doesn't get a salary. Sorry, guys, we're taking the salary back to buy the wall.
The cost. Don't drive up the cost. The first bid is only $5 a piece of the wall. But
yeah,
I will go in and buy it all.
He announced a plan to purchase the border wall materials and then send it right back to Donald Trump, and it seems the plan worked flawlessly. And now Democrats are sitting here with egg on their frickin' faces. What an utter embarrassment. And just when you thought the embarrassment couldn't get any worse, well, it does.
Yeah, people on their side are so demoralized and so like broken, they probably thought, oh, that's so great.
Remember when Donald Trump asked the Biden administration to stop selling the border wall?
And what happened is they just, as you see, they're trying to sell it for 5 cents on the dollar. And that's really, that has nothing to do with a smooth transition. That has to do with people really trying to stop our nation. And people have already come back to us that have deals at 5 cents and 4 cents, and one guy at 3 cents on the dollar. And they offered to sell it back to us at more money than it costs us to build substantially. Right. Can you believe it? So they make a deal with the United States to buy it for pennies. And then they call us and they say, do you want to buy it back? We'll sell it back to you for hundreds of dollars a foot. Hundreds of dollars, from pennies to hundreds of dollars a foot. And we
never should have had in the first place.
So I'm asking today, Joe Biden, to please stop selling the wall. We're going to use
salary. Take his salary, man. Take his salary. Nacho Kitty, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you, and welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. Oh, it's okay. Good night. Oh, good night, Kay. Take care. Thank you for being here. We'll see you soon.
That to create a strong barrier, and it worked. That's why our numbers were so good. It really worked, and it worked well. And it's very expensive to do. And I'm asking Joe Biden to stop his people from giving it away. It's something that people can't even believe is happening. So,
well, it seems the federal courts were paying attention. We now have this report claiming the courts have now blocked the Biden administration from selling off portions of the southern border wall. Donald Trump actually chimed in on the issue on his Truth Social platform. He wrote, breaking, in a major, crucial win for America and our national security, a federal judge in Texas, based on papers we filed just a few days ago, has prohibited the Biden administration from selling any materials designated for the border wall that has been wrecked by Biden and his cronies, and which I am going to rebuild in order to protect our country from violent migrant crime, fentanyl smuggling, adult behavior trafficking, terror attacks, and heinous nation-ending disasters. The judge has also ordered an investigation into the illegal selling of those materials, which will expose just how corrupt and anti-American radical Democrats are. I am honored to be joined in this vital case by the great states of Texas and Missouri, and applaud Judge Drew Tipton for doing the right thing for our country. We have to protect our borders and save America, make America great again. In other words, a double whammy. Not only do the Democrats Democrats take a massive L, they're taking 2 massive L's. The materials they already sold off at pennies on the dollar got bought by a group of based Texas patriots and then simply returned to the hands of Tom Homan, and then the rest of the wall material that hasn't been sold yet is now being blocked from being sold. It's just perfect. This whole debacle essentially showing you exactly who's who. On one side, you have Trump, who put America first and prioritized border security as a matter of national importance, and on the other side, you have Biden and the Democrats, who are so blinded by their hatred of Trump that they're willing to sacrifice public safety to score cheap political points. They overstepped and miscalculated big time. Once again, the Democrats put themselves above the American people. They put their party's interest above actual progress and good policy. And you know, that's exactly what the border wall was. It was good policy. And it wasn't necessarily the physical wall itself stopping all migration, making it impossible to cross over the border. Obviously, the wall could only do so much, but it was more the message that it sent. It sent a message to the cartels and the coyotes that the American federal government was paying attention and they were going to actually enforce the nation's constitutional laws. And obviously, the Democrats didn't like that so much. They created a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions at the southern border, and they wanted to get in the way of Donald Trump actually fixing the problem. They wanted to sabotage Trump going in. And that right there cannot be allowed to stand, and clearly it wasn't, thanks to so many amazing patriots. And frankly,
yeah, I mean, what a shitty thing to do. What a crappy thing to do, right? What a crappy thing to do. To try to sell the wall. I mean, like I said, take their salaries. But that, you know, sorry, we have to go buy back your mistake now. We have to go buy back your mistake. So we're going to take your salaries, and you don't need those anyways, right? You got all your corruption money well in place. You don't need those. You don't need those. All right, let's see. So that's good news. I'm glad we're getting it back. Like I said, I think we need to do some I think we need wall point 2.0 too. So that's a thing. All right. One day I'll figure out where I want to keep this mic. All right. Call it fines. Yeah, fine them. Fine them. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Let's do it. All right. Well, we at here. A lot of that in here tonight. Oh yeah, I want to go over to ground news. Let's do that. Let's do that. Couple articles here popped up. It's pretty interesting. Ground news. All right. So it says here that the New Orleans attacker acted alone and no definite link to Las Vegas Tesla explosion. I mean, I don't think that there is. Elon Musk faces criticism for supporting far-right activist Tommy Robinson. If you guys don't know who Tommy Robinson is, check it out. Check him out. He's a guy who for decades has been speaking out against the corruption in the UK, and he has been treated very badly in that country because of it. In fact, he has a documentary out that we were going to be reviewing on Old School Watch Party Sundays this Sunday coming up. And it's got like 5.4 million views. It's very popular, and this might be what's going on here. But I saw this and I thought, well, we should check it out. Let's see. Daily briefing. Pretty even coverage on this. Ground summary. The latest. Elon Musk faces backlash from British politicians after calling for the release of Tommy Robinson, who should be released, by the way, who was jailed for 18 months in October for contempt of court, which he does because they suck over there. A Musk intervention concedes with his growing support for far-right movements across Europe. Far-right. Because they should stop calling it far-right and start calling it so-right. You know, the so-right movements, they're so right. Why it matters. Musk's influence as ex-owner has amplified Robinson's reach to over 60 million views. Well deserved. This guy puts his ass on the line. Tommy Robinson puts his ass on the line for freedom and for people's rights and dignity and to save his country fearlessly. Is that, well, this is contempt of court. contempt of courts wise jailed, but obviously calling out what's going on in the UK is with the Muslim invasion over there and how they're the people who are citizens are being treated by the government, the corrupt government, the corrupt EU globalist government of the UK. That's not sitting well with him. So luckily he's still alive. I remember when he went in. Raised concern about foreign interference in UK politics and prompting calls for tighter campaign finance laws to prevent billionaire influence in future elections. Oh yeah, yeah. How much money is George Soros pumping over there? You gotta stop him too. Common ground. Platform application sources across the spectrum acknowledge must ownership of X has significantly amplified Robinson's reach and influence. Good, it should. People should be able to be known. With his restored account reaching hundreds of millions through viral posts. Yeah, because the guy's doing good work. And that's the thing that the establishment, the corrupt establishment, want to keep people from knowing. And that's why people want to know this information. Right? And the old Twitter had suspended his account because of that. Because they were taking a knee to the globalist establishment. Political motivations, multiple outlets observe much support for Robinson appears to connected to a broader pattern of backing right figures and movements across Europe, including AFD in Germany and Reform UK. Impact concerns. This is all done. This is like a little AI summary here. Analysis across sources express alarm that must influence. Oh yeah, what sources? Yeah, let me fix this, right? Analysts across the establishment media express alarm that must influence and financial resources could significantly impact UK politics through potential campaign funding and social media availability. Robinson is being unjustly imprisoned for exposing institutional failures and addressing child exploitation cases and speaking uncomfortable truths. That's the government accountability advocates will say this. Social cohesion defenders say Robinson's imprisonment is justified due to his deliberate violation of court orders and spreading of false information that endangers community harmony. I wonder what social cohesion defenders. I wonder where they come. I wonder who they vote for. I wonder where those sources come from. It says right here on the other side, we need a proper national inquiry to look at all of these issues across all of the towns affected. And I'm afraid to say there are something like 15 to 25 different towns involved, covering thousands and thousands of victims. Historical child abuse investigations to cover his national inquiry is necessary to expose systematic failures and hold responsible parties accountable across all affected regions. Foreign influence in UK politics. Must involvement brings needed attention to suppressed issues and challenges establishment's control over political discourse. I mean, wow. So yeah, we don't even need to read the establishment version. We already know what they think. So there you go. Daily briefing. I thought that was pretty cool. Hello? Turo rental app vehicle is used by... okay, so big deal. U.S. Army soldiers charged in high-profile phone record theft scheme. Okay. All right. All right, here we go here. What's not being seen? Let's go to the blind spot. What do we not see? For the right, news stories that had little to no reporting on the right. Canada's 100 highest paid CEOs earned $13.2 million on average in 2023, a report. We had so many hopes. Syrian refugee family reflects on nearly a decade in Canada. What? Why we? Oh, it's international. It's the international blind spot. Canada set to proceed over G7 in 2025. Expect protests for that. What that means and what's at stake. Feds are watering down promise to fully scrutinize firearms before sales. Okay. Climate change is taking a toll on Canada's lighthouses. Oh my God. No, not the lighthouses. UK to give Ukraine another 4.5 million pounds to help investigate Russian war crimes. Yeah, right. I'm sure that's where it's going. Donald Trump's son, Eric, posts about the president-elect buying Canada. Yeah, they should. India allegedly widespread trafficking of international students through Canada to U.S. A lot of Canadian news here on the international. I'm going to turn off the international spot and we'll see what's going on here in the country. Health Ethics Panel recommends further review of campaign finances. All right, we're not hearing a lot about that. Zero coverage. All Democrats expect to participate in speaker's vote. Okay. Former Florida Governor Buddy McKay dead at 91. Nobody cared. Carville doubles down on his famous rule. What's that? Be a scumbag and play dirty? I bet he does. Rep. Barbara Lee honoring her mother, Shirley Crimshole. Who cares? Canada's, yeah, we've got that one. We got this. Okay, good. What is the left not hearing about? Armed Trinidad gang members attacking U.S. border crossing. Reports. Man who drove on sidewalk near U.S. Capitol arrested on reckless driving charges. You see how little coverage you're getting? 0, 12. Joe Biden to block more offshore drilling before Donald Trump's return. Americans optimistic about Trump's ability to control immigration. Don't let anybody hear that. Morgan Stanley to exit Global Climate Coalition. Bury that shit, right? New Orleans attack inside Bourbon Street terrorist Houston home. Yeah, somehow they got inside of his home. They don't want the left to see that. Pelosi returns to D.C. after hip surgery in Germany. Don't tell the left about that. And don't tell the left that MSNBC hits Joe Biden on immigration. Trump is not wrong. So that's your blind spot. The blind spots that are out there. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's some stuff I had on Ray apps, but it looks like a long kind of 20-minute dive into this. Let me save it. It's like a podcast kind of thing. I thought it was more of a report. Let me, is there a shorter version of this somewhere? So I might leave it at that. Saturday night, ladies and gentlemen, I do this show called Winning Saturday Night where I go over the good news of the week and I go over cool things and funny videos, and it's just a laid back kind of like weekend show. And you guys might like it. If you haven't been there before, come check it out. That's when I'll be back next. I'm pretty sure I'll be back for that. I don't have any plans that I know of. It could change. Everything's subject to change. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate the support for the channel. We're gonna I hope we have a great 2025. Come here for your base takes on the world around you, because together we will be winning reality. It's a great idea. One you should subscribe to, be a part of this solution culture that we're building. So we'll be back Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Winning Saturday Night, and Old School Watch Party Sunday, 7 p.m. on Sundays. It's a 7 or 8. It's probably 8. Let me see. It's in the description. All that shit's in the description. Everything. Do I read my own descriptions? I don't know. Do I? We'll see. 8 p.m. on Sundays. I've only done a year and a half of these. I think I would know by now. Let me see. I feel like we just went over to. I guess I did. I'll send you over to Joe. Maybe he'll go into. Maybe he'll tell you some things, and you'll enjoy them. I think I saved it. Did I save it? Make sure. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for hanging out, being part of this thing we call Winning Reality. It's a lot of fun. We got a great crowd. We got awesome people that come here. Thanks to everybody who supports the channel. And I will catch you next time, guys. And until then, stay based and keep on winning.
If you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands. If you've lost faith in humanity, and this is your villain origin story, if you've lost faith in humanity, clap your hands.